We are on the record for the hearings of the matters listed in the North Dakota Industrial Commission hearing docket for September 25th. I'm David Garner, hearing examiner for these hearings. We're at the hearing room for the Department of Mineral Resources, Oil and Gas Division, and the time is 9:01 a.m. On the docket, the following matters will be continued or dismissed. Case number 32104 dismissed. Case number 31986 continued. Case number 32108 dismissed. Case number 32116 dismissed. Case number 32117 dismissed. Case number 32120 continued. Case number 31982 continued. Case number 31928 continued. Case number 31929 continued. Case number 31930 continued. Case number 31977 continued. Case number 32124 dismissed. Case number 32126 continued. Case number 31842 continued. Case number 32132 continued. Case number 32133 continued. Case number 32134 dismissed. Case number 32135 dismissed. Case number 32147 dismissed. Case number 32164 continued. Case number 32004 continued. Case number 32009 continued. Case number 31960 continued. Case number 31966 continued. Case number 31967 continued. Case number 31968 continued. Case number 31969 continued. The administrative docket starts on page 9 with case number 32127 and goes through case number 32191 on the supplement. These cases will be heard in the next room with Michael Zish. Audio recordings of the cases of the administrative docket will be placed on the Oil and Gas website by the end of the week. If you wish to appear in one of the matters on the administrative docket, please appear in the next room. If there is opposition to the matter, it will be brought back into this hearing room to be heard, and your statements and evidence will be taken. We will begin with moving to case number 32103, an application of Murex Petroleum Corp. For an order amending the applicable orders for the Writing Rock Bakken Pool to establish two overlapping stand-up 1920 acre spacing units described as sections 4, 9, and 16 and sections 5, 8, and 17, Township 161 North, Range 101 West, Divide County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled on each such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Murex Petroleum Corp. Got two witnesses, Jake Scott and Scott Nonhoff, and I see them on the screen now. And then, Mr. Examiner, just for some context, I don't know that we necessarily have to consolidate them or hear them together, but 31987, which is the next Murex case that will be heard, it's essentially tied to this one. So the first case, we've got two adjacent 1920s, and then the next case, that 31987, those are also two adjacent 1920s that are directly to the south, so it's sort of stacked 1920s. So just a heads up there.
If you'd like, we can call them together. It's up to you.
That's fine. So.
Okay, I'll call that one now as well. Is
Sure.
the same witnesses?
Yeah, same witnesses.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll now call case number 31987 as well. Application of Murex Petroleum Corp. For an order amending the applicable orders for the Writing Rock Bakken Pool to establish two overlapping stand-up 1920 acre spacing units described as sections 20, 29, and 32, and sections 21, 28, and 33, Township 161 North, Range 101 West, Divide County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in each such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. I'll start swearing in the witnesses then. Mr. Nonhoff.
I think Jake Scott will go first,
Okay.
Mr. Examiner.
Yep. Mr. Scott. Doesn't look like they're hearing me.
Jake, Scott, can you guys hear us? They're muted, but it doesn't seem like they can hear us. They're froze. No? No, they're moving. Oh, there we go. Hey, Scott and Jake, can you guys hear us?
Somebody cracked a joke.
Sure.
Yes, we will take a 5-minute break.
Sure.
Up to them.
Possibly. Up to the airlines.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, Scott, we're taking a 5-minute break, so you guys can't hear us at all. Okay. So, trying to get that figured out right now. So, yeah. No
We'll make sure they have their audio on mute.
Oh, my kids got me this.
Go ahead.
A lovely dad travel mug. And so now I fill it with my own coffee.
Imagine how much money you're going to save now.
That was $5 a day. Starbucks.
Oh, now I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't mute it, but then, see, you turn your phone off.
Never mind. Hang up his phone.
Oh,
Yeah, hang up. Can you hear us through the mics now?
yeah, we can.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All set? Okay, we are back on the record. I will start by swearing in Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Scott, I think Jake's going to go first, right? Cover the landslides.
Yeah.
So Jake Scott is.
Yeah, I said Mr. Scott.
Yeah,
Oh,
his
I'm
name is
sorry.
Scott Knobloch,
Yeah.
so he answers.
The right person
I'm sorry.
to whoever is going to testify. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
And guys, I don't know, before we start, can you share screen and run through the exhibits or not?
We might be able to. I didn't know we needed to.
Just if you can, just go ahead and do that and pull them up, and as we go through them, have them up on the screen.
all right. Let's see. Where is the share button? Here. All right. Are you able to see it?
I can. I don't know if is it possible to expand it at all?
Well,
Looks
that's
like it's
one.
minimized. I don't.
Oh,
If not, we can, I guess, go with that.
maybe. Does that help?
No, it was better before. Let's just go with that.
Okay.
So, Jake, can I have you state your name for us? Tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address.
Sure. Jake Scott, and I am a staff landman at Merrick Petroleum Corporation. Address is 1700 City Plaza Drive, Suite 575, Spring, Texas 77389.
And Jake, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
And have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
I have.
And are you familiar with the land matters that are associated with the spacing units that are being requested?
I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Scott be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Jake, let's look at your exhibit number 1. Can you identify the area that we'll be discussing today?
Sure. This is a general location of the two stand-up 1920s that we are requesting be spaced today in the Riding Rock Township, 161-101, sections 5, 8, and 17, and 4, 9, and 16.
Okay. And then moving on to exhibit 2.
This is Murex's acreage count in the Fortuna and Riding Rock Township, and our general goals for future spacing of this acreage. Hopefully the Fortuna in rest of Fortuna in November, as well as the remaining acreage in Riding Rock.
Sure. And then before we go forward, I don't know, Scott, or if you're running that, can you switch the exhibits as we go through or not?
Oh, I think so. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, so we just walked through exhibit number 2, sort of the area of development there. Then let's, Jake, move on to exhibit number 3. And if we can have you just identify the kind of the 2 spacing units that we're looking at requesting in this case.
Sure. This is our regional locator map outlining the 2 proposed stand-up 1920s, again consisting of 161-101 sections 5, 8, and 17, and 161-101, 4, 9, and 16.
And then moving on to exhibit number 4, if you can take us through your working interest in that first 1920.
Sure. On the left there are the 2 base 1280s, 161-101 sections 16 and 21, in which Murex operates. We have a 39.12% working interest, and the other parties owning a 60.87 working interest, with an allocation factor of 33.3%. And then the other base unit being 161-101 sections 4 and 9, in which Murex Petroleum operates at 84.77% working interest, and the other parties owning a 15.22% working interest. And then creating the overall working interest in the subject 1920, Murex having a 69.56% working interest, and the other parties having a 30.43% working interest.
Okay. And then shifting to that 5, 8, and 17, 1920 exhibit number 5, can you take us through the working interest there?
Sure. Again, on the left are the 2 base units, the first being 161-101, 17, and 20, with a 1/3 allocation, Murex Petroleum operating that at a 67.05% working interest, and other parties owning a 32.94% working interest. And then sections 5 and 8 of 161-101, Murex Petroleum operating at a 72.6% working interest, and the other parties owning a 27.3% working interest at a 2/3 allocation. And overall, 5, 8, and 17, Murex owning a 70.75% working interest, and the other parties owning a 29.24% working interest.
Okay. And that's all the questions that I have for Mr. Scott with respect to the exhibits in this case, and I'd offer the land exhibits 1 through 5.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Looking at exhibit 3, where are the pad locations going to be?
Can I answer that, or do I need
Yeah,
to swear it in
so
first?
hang on, Scott. Ashley, I was going to have Scott circle back to exhibit number 3 when he does his testimony and kind of cover the development and the pad locations, those things. If
Sure.
That's all right.
Mr. Nonhoff,
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Scott, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Scott Nonhoff. Business address is 1700 City Place Drive, Suite 575, Spring, Texas 77389. I'm employed by Murex Petroleum. I am our Vice President of Reservoir Engineering.
Okay. And Scott, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
And have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert with respect to geology and engineering related
I
matters?
have.
Okay.
I have.
And are you familiar with those matters with respect to the spacing units that we'll be discussing today?
I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Nonhoff be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Scott, let's start with exhibit number 6, the structure map. Can you describe the structure underlying these spacing units?
This is the structure map on the top of the Bakken, showing southeast dip across the area.
And then moving on to exhibit 7. Take us through that.
Exhibit 7 is our line of cross section across the area.
Okay, and then moving on to exhibit number 8, can you walk us through the cross section, describe what you're showing?
And so this is the cross section hung on the top of the Bakken. It shows the Bakken is a 55 to 60 foot structure through the area of interest.
Okay, and Scott, before we touch on the reservoir and the economics, I want to go back quick to exhibit number 3, and if I can have you walk us through what your proposed development plans for these two 1920s would be.
Yes. So Murex's infrastructure runs across the northern township line, and so our locations will be at the center of each of the DSUs along the northern township. So our electricity, our water, infrastructure, everything is right there.
Okay. And then if I can have you go back up then to exhibit number 9. And if you can summarize for me the reservoir data and then the economics for the wells.
Yeah, this is just the volumetric reservoir data for the wells. It ties to type curve analysis as well. Economically, we're planning on investing $9.6 million per well. The total cumulative undiscounted cash flow at $7 oil is $18.7 million to the 8/8 or to the working interest, 100% working interest.
Okay. And then looking at exhibit number 10, how would you propose to drill and complete the wells?
Yes, we're doing 3-mile laterals. We're going to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 stages on the frac. We'll be pumping somewhere in between 19 and 20 million pounds of proppant with 375 to 400,000 barrels of fluid.
Okay. And Scott, in your opinion, if the commission were to approve these two 1920s for the development that you've described, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, it would.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Nonhoff with respect to the exhibits in this case, and I'd offer exhibits 6 through 11.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Scott, on exhibit 3, I guess I'll ask the first question that was already asked, and that is where the pad will be located for both spacing units.
So the pads will be located in the center. So I don't know if you can see my map, my mouse, but there are already pads right there on the center of both DSUs along the northern edge of the township.
So you're just expanding the existing well pads?
That will be the plan, yes, sir.
Okay. And then in both of these proposed spacing units, there's current and existing well bores. Are those intended to be plugged and abandoned, or is Merrick's going to continue to produce those once these wells are completed?
They will be continued to produce. They're both, and I know that the commission doesn't recognize the difference between the Bakken and the Three Forks, but they're both they're three 3 of the 4 are Three Forks wells, and then the Bakken is the target interval.
Are the wells going to be
Middle Bakken.
Oh, sorry.
5 wells per DSU.
Are the wells going to be batch drilled?
We're still working that in the $60 oil environment. It may or may not. If we have some relief on prices, then yes, we will batch drill. That is the most economic way to do it.
Which of the 1920s would you anticipate currently to drill first?
We are going to be drilling we're going to be showing you the southern portion of this. So the next case is the 2 southern DSUs. Those will be drilled first, and then the northern wells will be drilled second. So we're looking at probably 18 months down the line before we drill those northern ones.
And what's your anticipated spud date?
We don't have one at this moment.
Okay. In sections 5 or the proposed spacing unit of 5, 8, and 17, you have a gap on the section 17 there, and I understand these are just simply depictions, but are you anticipating on those 2 laterals that run next to the existing wellbore to curve those in or pull those in a little to catch that section 17 a little more evenly?
Yeah, we want to capture the most even as we can. Like I said, both of those wells are Three Forks wells. We'll be above that in the middle Bakken, so it'll be spaced evenly across it. We won't have interference with wells.
On Exhibit 9, your economics, as you indicated, you ran at $70. Is Merrick's intent to drill these wells only if you get to a $70 oil price, or would you anticipate drilling them even at today's oil price?
We would be drilling them in current prices. We're sitting at somewhere between 63 and 65 dollars a barrel. Our economics are still viable, so we would drill in the current environment. The $70 is obviously wishful thinking.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next case.
Yeah. So, Jake, let's look now. Shift down to the south, that 31987, the exhibits in that case, and describe what you've got shown on Exhibit 1.
Sure. Again, this is just the general location map outlining the 2 1920s in the southern portion of the Riding Rock Township, 161, 101, 20, 29, and 32, and 21, 28, and 33.
Okay. And then Exhibit number 2, that's that same kind of area development map that you showed us previously.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then how about Exhibit number 3, if you can just specifically identify the 2 southern spacing units, the 1920s?
Sure. Again, this is our regional locator map outlining the 2 requested stand-up 1920 units consisting of 161, 101, sections 20, 29, and 32, and 161, 101, sections 21, 28, and 33.
And then let's move on to working interest in that 20, 29, and 32 first, Exhibit number 4.
Yes, sir. To the left there, again, you'll see the 2 base 1280s, 17 and 20 of 161, 101, in which Merrick Petroleum operates at a 67.05% working interest and other parties at a 32.94% working interest with a 33.3% allocation. And then the other base 1280 being 161, 101, 29, and 32. Merrick's Petroleum owning a 57.86% working interest and other parties owning a 42.13% working interest to give us a total working interest for the 1920 at Merrick's Petroleum at 60.92% working interest and other parties at a 39.07% working interest.
And then moving on to Exhibit number 5, if you could take us to the working interest in 21, 28, and 33.
Sure. Again, the 2 base units, the first 1280 being 16 and 21 of 161, 101, in which Merrick Petroleum operates at a 39.12% working interest with a 33.3% allocation. And then the second being 28 and 33 of 161, 101, Merrick Petroleum owning a 37.03% working interest and the other parties owning a 62.96% working interest at a 66.67 allocation, giving a total of a 37.72% working interest for Murex, and all other parties at a 62.27% working interest.
Okay, I have no further questions for Mr. Scott. I'd offer the exhibits 1 through 5.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Jake, on your exhibit 5 for section 21, 28, and 33, just curiosity, but have you worked with the other parties, being you have less than majority on that space unit, to see if they support this?
At this moment, we have not.
Thank you.
You can proceed.
All right, Scott, let's look at exhibit number 6. Can you describe the structure underlying these southern two 1920s?
Yeah, once again, same structure map in the last case. It's a southeast dipping structure of the Bakken upper Bakken shelf, showing the uniformity across the area.
Okay, and then looking at exhibit number 7, is that the same cross section?
It is the same cross section. Yes, sir.
Okay. So then exhibit number 8, anything different with respect to what you're looking at for cross section with these two?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. Same cross section.
Let's again then, Scott, circle back to exhibit number 3, and if you can take us through what you're looking at for development on these two southern 1920s.
Yeah. So on exhibit 3, right now it's depicted that we would be drilling between the two units. More than likely, we will not. We'll actually be drilling on the southern end at the center of both units. So we will have a location on the center of 33 and on the center of 32, drilling it as a pad drilling, five wells per pad. Our infrastructure, our water line comes right down the section line of 25, 28, and 33. And our electricity goes along the southern edge of the township. So this will definitely prevent waste because we'll be able to utilize our current infrastructure.
Sure. And then moving back to exhibit 9, anything different with respect to the reservoir or the economics once you move south? Okay.
Same type curve, same economics, same volumetrics.
Okay. And then how about exhibit number 10 with respect to drilling and completion? It's going to be the same?
It will be the same, yes, sir.
Okay. And Scott, again, then in your opinion, with respect to these two southern 1920s, if they're approved for this development, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, sir, it will.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Nonhoff. I'd offer exhibits 6 through 11.
Sir, admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Scott, same question as far as your spud date. Is it not defined just yet?
It is not fully defined yet. We have some leases that we're wanting to maintain. So that's why this is the first set of DSUs that will be drilled. And it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of the next 12 months to 18 months.
Okay, thank you. Scott, can you confirm for me your target for these laterals?
It's the middle Bakken.
And just confirming it's not depicted on the exhibit 3. I'm assuming you're not planning to, but being as there were no existing wells on what would have been the 1280 of 29 and 32 or 28 and 33, I'm assuming you do not at this time plan to drill any 1280 wells.
We do not. Unfortunately, the 1280 wells are just uneconomic.
And then your intent would be to roughly evenly space across those acreages without existing wellbores, or because the existing wellbores are 3 forks, you'll do it across the spacing units regardless.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our hearing for case numbers 32103 and 31987.
That's it, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Case number 32104. Application of Murex Petroleum Corp. For an order amending the applicable orders for the Fortuna Bakken Pool to establish two overlapping stand-up 1920 acre spacing units described as sections 112 and 13 and sections 211 and 14, Township 162 North, Range 101 West, Divide County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in each such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been dismissed. Concludes our hearing for case number 32104. Case number 31986. Application of Murex Petroleum Corp. For an order amending the applicable orders for the Fortuna Bakken Pool to establish two overlapping stand-up 1920 acre spacing units described as sections 23, 26, and 35, and sections 24, 25, and 36, Township 162 North, Range 101 West, Divide County, North Dakota, and authorize 5 horizontal wells to be drilled in each such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our November hearings. Concludes our hearing for case number 31986. Case number 32105. Application of Hess Bakken Investments 2 LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Big Butte Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 3, 4, 9, and 10, Township 156 North, Range 94 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, and authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled on such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner Wade Mann, PO Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Hess Bakken Investments 2 LLC. I have 3 witnesses in this case: Derek Abrahamson, Jacob Smith, and Aisha Keshimir, and I think they're all there.
Mr. Abramson,
Yes,
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Okay. Derek, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Sure. My name is Derek Abrahamson. I'm employed as a land negotiator at Hess Corporation. Business address is 1501 McKinney Street, Houston, Texas, 77010.
And Derek, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, I have.
And have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
I have.
And are you familiar with the spacing units involved in the cases today? And the
I am.
matters, I guess?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'd move the testimony of Mr. Abrahamson be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And then, are you guys able to pull the exhibits up to share? Or do we need to let you in, Christina? Or
Yes, please.
can you let Christina in?
Thank you.
All right. There we
Are
go.
you able to see them now? Okay.
Yeah, if we can go ahead and go on into exhibit number 1.
Yep.
If you can switch it to that.
Yep. Exhibit 1 is a location map of Township 156 North, 94 West, and in blue is the 2 stand-up existing 1280 DSUs, and in green is the requested 2560 DSU.
Okay. And then let's move on to exhibit number 2, and if you can take us through the working interest.
Yeah, that's a land plat showing our proposed 2560 spacing, being sections 3, 4, 9, 10, Township 156 North, Range 94 West, in Montreal County. In blue is the Hess operated Ian Wander, being sections 4 and 9. Hess owns roughly 84% and Northern 12%. In green is the Hess operated Ian Davenport DSU, being sections 3 and 10. Hess owns roughly 97%, others 3%, and the combined working interest for the proposed 2560, Hess owns roughly 91% and Northern 6%.
Okay. And I have no further questions. I'd offer the land exhibits 1 and 2.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Jacob, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Jacob Smith. I'm a geologist employed by Hess Corporation. with a business address of 1501 McKinney Street, Houston, Texas 77010.
And Jacob, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
Had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
I have.
And are you familiar with the geology underlying the spacing units being requested today?
I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Smith be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Jacob, let's look at your exhibit number 3. Can you describe the structure underlying the proposed spacing unit?
Yes, sir. This is a middle Bakken structure map with a contour interval of 50 feet, showing formation dipping to the south. We've got the existing DSUs in blue and the requested 2560 in green. Purple, A prime, represents the location of the 3 wells used in the stratigraphic cross-section on the next exhibit.
Okay, and then let's move on to that exhibit 4. Can you describe what you're showing us on your cross-section?
Yes, sir. Stratigraphic cross-section from that purple A prime. These 3 gamma logs are flattened on the top of the Bakken formation, showing that our targeted formations present continuous throughout our region.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Smith, and I'd offer geology exhibits 3 and 4.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Ms. Ketchmere,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Aisha, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Sure. My name is Aisha Kashmir, employed by Hess Corporation as a reservoir engineer. A business address 1501 McKinney Street, Houston, Texas 77010.
And Aisha, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, I have.
Had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes.
And you're familiar with the engineering matters associated with the spacing units?
Yes.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Ms. Kashmir be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Aisha, if you look at exhibit number 5 and describe for us how you developed this proposed spacing unit.
Sure. Exhibit 5 shows the proposed 2560 development plan for section 3, 4, 9, and 10. The bold dashed line is the proposed well that's going to be drilled in the middle Bakken formation.
Okay. Let's move on then to exhibit number 6, and if I could have you summarize the reservoir data and take us through the economics.
Sure. Exhibit 6 shows the reservoir and economic summary for a single 2-mile lateral in middle Bakken well in the Big Butte field. The expected EUR is around 580,000 standard barrels oil. Economics will run at $62 WTI, flat and 100% working interest. The expected MPV is around 8.5 million with 65% rate of return.
And Aisha, if the commission were to approve the spacing unit to allow for that development, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd offer exhibits 5, 6, and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Aisha, do you plan to drill this well exactly down the section line, or will it be offset at all?
It will be around 150 feet from the section line.
And then do you plan to drill this well, batch drill it with the other wells depicted on this pad?
Yes, that's correct. It will be drilled with the H3 and the H4. It's going to be a 3-well batch.
Sorry if I missed it. So you said it'd be 150 feet off the section line. Will that be to the east or to the west?
To the west.
Okay, thank you.
Aisha, what's your anticipated spud date?
It's April 2027.
And on exhibit 5, and I'm assuming it's just a color thing, but your proposed well, your dark green is over top of a light green line. Is there another well underneath that, or is that just simply how it printed off?
No, it just is the same. I just like put a line both so you can. It's going to be showing the one we're proposing, but it's not another well. No, it's the same.
All right, thank you.
That Concludes our hearing for case number 32105. Case number 32106. Application of Hesbakken Investments 2 LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Algerbakken Pool to establish two overlapping 2560 acre spacing units described as sections 15, 16, 21, and 22 and sections 17, 18, 19, and 20, Township 156 North, Range 93 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, and authorize one horizontal well to be drilled in each such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Hesbakken Investments 2 LLC, and it'll be the same three witnesses will testify in this case.
And they're still under oath.
Okay. And Derek, let's look at your exhibit number 1. Can you describe the two spacing units that we're requesting today?
Yeah, it's a location map showing Township 156 North, Range 93 West. In green are the requested 2560 DSUs. They overlap a laydown 2560, which is sections 15, 16, 17, and 18. The requested 2560 on the west also overlaps two stand-up 1280 DSUs, one being sections 19 and 30, and the other one being sections 20 and 29. To the east, the DSU we're requesting also overlaps the 2560 laydown to the north, and then also the two stand-up DSUs to the south, one being section 21 and 28, and the other being sections 22 and 27.
Okay. And then moving on to exhibit number 2, if you can take us through the working interest in that 2560.
Sure. This is a land plat showing the working interest for the proposed 2560 in sections 15, 16, 21, and 22. The northern, it overlaps the northern 2560, which is the in-state rears guard, being sections 15, 16, 17, and 18. It overlaps the portions of 15 and 16. Hess owns roughly 75% working interest, and Devon 14%. In the blue is the Blanchett Federal, being sections 21 and 28. It's an Oasis operated DSU. Oasis owns 44%, and Hess owns roughly 41%. And in orange is also an Oasis DSU, being sections 22 and 27. Oasis owns 51%, about 52%, and Hess owns roughly 17%. And they combine working interest for the proposed 2560. Hess would own roughly 52%, and Oasis 24%. Others and others being 17%.
Okay. And will you work with other working interest owners with respect to operatorship?
Yes, we have spoke with Oasis about where to place that lease line well, and we came to an agreement on that.
Okay, good deal. Exhibit number 3 then, if you can take us through the working interest in this 2560.
Sure. The same thing. It overlaps the laydown 2560 to the north, being sections 15, 16, 17, and 18. In the green, that's the in-state rears guard. It's the same working interest as the described on the prior exhibit, with Hess owning roughly 75% and Devon owning roughly 14%. It also overlaps the Devon-operated brown. That's in the, I guess, the purplish color. Devon owns roughly 77%, and Oasis 13%. And in the yellow is the Devon-operated lift rig, 1280 DSU, being sections 20 and 29. Devon owns roughly 73%. Hess owns roughly 12%. And the total working interest for the proposed 2560, Hess owns roughly 41% and Devon 44%.
Okay. And Derek, same question on this one. Will you work with the other?
Yeah, I have not had contact with Devon on this one directly, but we will work with them on where to place that lease line well.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd offer the land exhibits 1 through 3.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Jacob, let's look at exhibit number 4. Can you describe the structure underlying these spacing units?
Yes, sir. This is a middle Bakken structure map. Contour interval, again, 50 feet. Showing formation dipping to the southwest. We've got our existing DSUs in blue, requested two DSUs in green, and our purple 8A prime is the location of the wells used in the next exhibit.
Okay. Then if we can move on to exhibit number 5, can you take us through that cross section and describe for us what you're showing us there?
Yes, sir. So these three wells are the three wells used in the purple cross section, the previous exhibit, stratigraphic cross section flattened on the top of the Bakken, showing our targeted formations are present and continuous.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Smith. I'd offer exhibits 4 and 5.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Okay, Aisha, looking at exhibit number 6, can you describe for us how you intend to develop each of these proposed 2560s?
Sure. Exhibit 6 showed the proposed 2560 development plan for section 17, 18, 19, 20, and section 15, 16, 21, 22. The two bold dashed lines are the proposed wells, and both wells will be drilled in the Middle Bakken Formation.
Okay. And then moving on to exhibit 7, can you take us through the reservoir data and the economic summary?
Sure. Exhibit 7 shows the reservoir and economic summary for a single 2-mile lateral Middle Bakken well in Elger field. The expected EUR is around 580,000 standard barrels oil. Economics will run at $62 WTI flat and 100% working interest. The expected MPV is around 8.5 million and 65% rate of return.
Okay. And Aisha, in your opinion, if the spacing units are approved for the lease line wells, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd offer exhibit 6, 7, and the gas capture plan affidavits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Aisha, will these wells be drilled down the section line or will they be offset?
They will be offset, and we did talk to Oasis, and we get an agreement to push one of the lease line up around 150 feet from the section line.
To the north?
To the north, yes.
So both of the wells will be drilled 150 feet to the north of the section line?
Correct, yes, we'll do for both of them.
Right. Will these be drilled from an existing pad in section 16?
Yes, we're going to be drilling them from an existing pad. So it's going to be a 3-well batch, 2 lease line and 1 infill, as you can see in the exhibit.
Thank you.
Aisha, are you aware of the target intervals for the wells to the south? Are they a mixture of Middle Bakken and Three Forks wells, or are they mostly Middle Bakken? Do you know?
They are a mix between Middle Bakken and Three Forks, but I'm not aware. I can tell for sure how many Middle Bakken versus Three Forks are in.
Okay. I guess the reason I asked the question, I know it's been indicated by your land group that you've discussed with Oasis the placement of that well. Does placing the well north of the section line keep you out of the drill back area for some of those other wells drilled on those Oasis spacing units?
Like for the drill back, no.
So what I'm getting at is those Oasis wells, some of those drill back towards the section line, do they actually cross the section line or do they stay south of it?
They don't really cross the section line. They're right on the section line. That's why we're pushing our wells a little bit 150 feet to avoid those ones. But there is not there is only one batch that the hill isn't on our section. That's the one, the Oasis we were discussing with. But all of the wells, as you can see in the map, they are all the toes. So the pad is in the southern part of their section. But even with that, we're pushing the other well up another 150 feet to avoid crossing any well.
Okay, thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32106. Case number 32107, application of Hesbakken Investments 2 LLC for order amending the applicable orders for the Manitou Bakken pool to allow the easternmost and the westernmost wells in the spacing unit described as sections 2734 in the west half of section 15, the east half and east half northwest quarter of section 16, the east half of section 21, and the west half southeast quarter of section 22, Township 156 North, Range 94 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, to be drilled and completed in such a fashion that portions of the wellbore may be less than 500 feet from the boundary of the spacing unit in sections 15 and 22 and sections 16 and 21, Township 156 North, Range 94 West, primarily at the protruding corners of the spacing unit, as an exception to the applicable well location requirements, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, PO Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Hess-Bakken Investments 2 LLC. I'm going to have two witnesses in this case. It'll be Mr. Abrahamson again, and then I'll have Jeremy Brown testifying as well.
Mr. Abrahamson, the stone oath.
Yeah, and it, just before I call Mr. Abrahamson, just for some background and some context, I think it'll be helpful. So back in November, it was case number 31079 was the case, and then order 33768 was issued. And Christine, if you can just flip to Derek's first exhibit, if that's on there. Yeah. So in that case, 31079, Hess had requested a 3,840 acre spacing unit to drill those 4 wells that are depicted kind of here in that outline spacing unit. The commission approved instead of 2560, and it's kind of an irregular spacing unit, as you can see. And they indicated in the findings in that case, that the 2560, in the commission's opinion, would best protect relative rights, provide orderly development, and optimize the recovery. And they also indicated in the findings in that case that Hess could still drill the 4 proposed wells that they presented to the commission that they intended to drill in the 3840. Could still do that as they proposed in that case, but it would just be beneficial to get a setback reduction at those protruding corners, that you can see on there. So that's why we're here today. We're here to get the setback relief at those protruding corners to allow the easternmost and the westernmost well to be drilled. So that's in a nutshell kind of why we're here. And then I'll call Mr. Abrahamson first, and then Jeremy Brown will kind of get into some of the detail on each of those wells, kind of what we're looking at for kind of footages off those corners and so forth.
Okay. You can proceed with Mr.
All right, Derek, if I can have you take a look at that exhibit number 2, just kind of identify that spacing unit that we're looking at.
Yeah, so this was order 33768 that granted this spacing. Again, I'll describe it again as being all of sections 20. Sorry, let me go back. It's Township 156 North, Range 93 West, and it's all of sections 37, 34, the west half of section 15, the east half of section 16, the east half of the northwest quarter of section 16, the east half of section 21, the west half of section 22, and the west half southeast corner of section 22.
Okay. And then, Derek, it's your understanding that the commission had requested and is treating this as an exception location case, essentially to allow, the H2 and the H5, which would be like the easternmost and the westernmost wells, to be drilled and completed in a fashion that would be, not consistent with the current setback. So we've treated this as an exception location case. You familiar with the commission's regulations that require notice to be provided to the adjoining landowners, to all of the working interest owners, unleased mineral owners, and in this case, any of Hess's lessors?
Yes, and we did through outside counsel, we did provide all those notices to those owners as you described.
Okay, so I have no further questions for Mr. Abrahamson, and I would offer this Exhibit 2.
The exhibit is submitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Brown.
Sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
So, Jeremy, can I have you state your name and then tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Sure. My name's Jeremy Brown, it's Brown. I'm currently employed at Hess Corporation as a senior drilling engineer with a business address of 1501 McKinney Street, Houston, Texas 77010.
Jeremy, have you previously testified before the commission?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm going to have you briefly take us through your educational background and then your relevant work experience.
Sure. So I hold a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Texas Tech University. I've worked as a drilling supervisor / drilling engineer in various capacities for the past 20 years, and which 15 of those have been with Hess Corporation.
Okay, and Jeremy, then are you familiar with and involved in the plans for the drilling of these 4 wells on this spacing unit?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and you're familiar with the location of the wells with respect to these protruding corners, and you're going to address that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I'd offer the testimony of Mr. Brown as that of an expert in this case.
Motion granted.
And Jeremy, if we can start with that Exhibit 3 that we've got up there, and I believe it's the H2 that outlined in blue, that easternmost well that you're proposing in the spacing unit. Can you kind of walk us through, once we get into the northern sections up there and where we've got those corners, and just kind of describe for us what sort of setback relief we're going to need, how close to those protruding corners and so forth?
Yes. Yeah, so on this easternmost well, which is the H2, as we will drill it directly straight north through sections 34 and 27, and then make a slight turn to head northwest. And that protruding corner that's kind of in the center of section 22, right now we have it planned to go approximately 240 feet from the boundary line, and that's abiding by a 200-foot setback versus a 500-foot.
So I guess at the request that we would need a 200-foot setback at that protruding corner for the H2 then?
Correct.
And any other relief needed for the H2, or is that it?
No, that's the only one.
Okay. Let's move on then to the next exhibit number 4, and shift over to the west and that H5 well that you've got outlined in blue. And again, then just walk us through the same thing, kind of what we're looking at for footages and relief needed for the protruding corners in that one.
Okay, so same thing here. The closest protruding corner and the only one that's an issue is in the northeast corner of section 21. And we plan this one to come by at the same distance from that line. So 240 feet from that boundary corner, which is allowing us 40 feet from a 200-foot setback.
Okay. And Jeremy, you can kind of see it on here. You could probably see it better in, I guess, Derek's exhibit. But there's wells, producing wells on either side of these 4 proposed wells already, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you don't have any concerns with respect to any correlative rights issues with the setback relief?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Brown. I'd offer the exhibits 3 and 4.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Jeremy, on Exhibit 3, you indicated that your current intention is to cross that point at 240 foot, and you stated that a 200-foot hard line, but on your exhibit, it actually shows a hard line of 150 foot and a 200-foot from east-west, which I would assume is your boundary. So is Hess's goal to have a 200-foot hard line or a 150-foot hard line?
So that's a 150-foot boundary in the northwest direction. But if you look at it on the east-west, so the offset going east on that boundary in section 21, it's a 200-foot offset. So we're abiding by our standard 150-foot setbacks in the north-south direction.
Does Hess anticipate any completion adjustments when in these areas of these setbacks? Are they going to leave a stage off, or is there no intention of doing anything different as far as stages or in this general vicinity of those points that cross that wellbore?
No, there's no intention to change anything on the completion design.
Yeah, thank you. So, Jeremy, just want to make sure it's clear in the record. Your exhibit 3 and 4, you've got the proposed hard lines drawn on the inside of the spacing unit boundary, right?
Correct.
And where the well is more perpendicular to the line that it is approaching, you are using the 150-foot setback that would be standard to the Bakken pool spacing units.
That's correct.
And where you are more perpendicular to or parallel to the line, your request is to have the 200-foot setback applied across the entire length of the spacing unit.
Yes, that's how it's drawn in. That's correct.
Okay. If for whatever reason the commission were to only apply that 200-foot setback into the area that it was going to directly impact, I'm assuming that wouldn't be an issue for you. If it were to the quarter line that you're most close to.
It is possible that if we did that, then the center of section 16 could become a problem. So if you go just north of there, if we put a 500-foot setback there, we may have to move that well in to the east to avoid that.
You're talking about on Exhibit 4 then?
Yes. Yeah, Exhibit 4, if you look at where it's not the closest. So the closest one is the northeast corner of that section 21. And then you can see in the center of section 16, we come somewhat close to that corner boundary. If we had a 500-foot setback to the east of that corner, that would interfere with this current well plan.
So that could potentially be a problem as well.
Yes.
I was thinking about asking for it. I'm going to ask for it now. Can you provide an exhibit, a supplemental exhibit in this case? Detail those corners and the distance, both the orientation of the wellbore as it approaches the given corners, and the maximum distance that wellbore reaches from those corners, or sorry, not the maximum, the minimum distance that it reaches when it approaches those corners. So specifically, probably addressing the well in the corner in the center of section 16, in the northeast half or northeast of 21, and you might as well address the northwest corner of 27, I think it is as well. Those would be off of Exhibit 4, the well in Exhibit 4, and then on the Exhibit 3, address those two corners. The one in about the center of 22 and at the south end of 22.
Yes, I can do that.
And as far as the drilling tolerance, you were presenting that you were comfortable with drilling 40 feet off the 200-foot setback. That's what you need for drilling tolerance. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe include that just as a clear statement on that exhibit as well, what your comfortable drilling tolerance is.
Typically, we stay within 25 feet of our planned wellbore. So anything outside that, we're comfortable with.
Okay. Like I said, just include that as a kind of a statement on that exhibit. So when the commission's looking at it, as far as where the relief is needed and how we want to apply that relief, we have the whole picture in mind.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait, is October 2nd good enough?
Yeah. So Jeremy, I guess just for my benefit, you're pretty clear with what Mr. Sykes is looking for, and you can put that together as supplemental exhibit.
Yes.
And then is October 2nd enough time to get that sent to us so we can file it?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
The record will remain open in this case until October 2nd. That concludes our hearing for case number 32107. Case number 32108. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the West Bank Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping 1920 acre spacing unit described in sections 4, 9, and 16, Township 156 North, Range 96 West, Williams County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit or granted such relief as may be appropriate. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32108. And at this time, we will take a 10-minute break. Back on the record. We'll resume with case number 32109. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Dublin and/or Marmon Bakken Pools, Williams County, North Dakota, to 1. Establish an overlapping stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 1, 12, 13, and 24, Township 157 North, Range 100 West, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit. 2. Establish an overlapping stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 2, 11, 14, and 23, Township 157 North, Range 100 West, and authorize 3 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit. 3. Establish an overlapping stand-up 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, 14, 23, and 24, Township 157 North, Range 100 West, and authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled in such unit, or 4. Granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Oasis Petroleum North America, LLC. 3 witnesses in this case will be Cassidy Barr, John Prim, and Walker Gates.
Ms. Barr,
Yes,
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Cassidy, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed and what capacity, and give us your business address?
My name is Cassidy Barr. I'm employed as a landman with Ford Energy. Business address is 1001 Fannin Street, Suite 1500, Houston, Texas 77002.
And Cassidy, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have not.
Can I have you briefly take us through your educational background and then your relevant work experience with respect to land matters?
Yes, I graduated from Baylor University with a degree in corporate communications and also received a master's degree from Texas Tech University. I worked at Surge Energy for 4 years. I was with Marathon Oil as a landman from 2023 through 2024. And I've been a landman with Ford since February of 2025.
And Cassidy, are you familiar with the land matters that are associated with the spacing units that are being requested today?
Yes.
Okay. I'd move the testimony of Ms. Barr be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Courtney, if I can have you start with your exhibit L1 and identify the spacing units that we're requesting today.
Exhibit L1 is a regional locator map of the lands associated with proposed spacing. The red box represents our 2560 acre spacing proposal and outlines section 1, 12, 13, and 24 in Township 157 North, Range 100 West. The blue box represents our 2560 acre spacing unit in sections 2, 11, 14, and 23 in Township 157 North, Range 100 West. The green dashed box represents our 5120 spacing unit, outlining sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, 14, 23, and 24, also in Township 157 North, Range 100 West.
Let's move on to L2 then, if you can take us through the working interest in that eastern 2560.
Exhibit L2 shows the requested 2560 acre spacing of sections 1, 12, 13, and 24, Township 157 North, Range 100 West, where Oasis has a working interest of 74%.
And then looking at L3, can you describe the working interest in the underlying spacing units?
Exhibit L3 shows the underlying existing spacing units. The green dash box outlines sections 1 and 12, where Oasis has a working interest of 66.98%. The red dash box outlines sections 13 and 24, 157 North, Range 100 West, where Oasis has a working interest of 81.02%.
Okay. Moving on then to the other 2560, can you take us through the working interest there?
Exhibit L4 shows the requested 2560 of sections 2, 11, 14, and 23, where Oasis has a 73.1% working interest.
Okay, and moving on, next exhibit, if we can look at the working interest in those underlying spacing units.
Exhibit L5 shows the green dash box, outlines sections 2 and 11 in 157 North, Range 100 West, where Oasis has a working interest of 92.23%. The red dashed box outlines sections 14 and 23, where Oasis has a working interest of 52.44%.
And then moving on to the 5120, can you take us through the working interest there?
Exhibit L6 shows the requested 5120 acre spacing of sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, 14, 23, and 24, where Oasis has a working interest of 61.44%.
Okay. And then L7, you probably don't have to go through each of these since they've already been covered in the 22560s, but does that depict the working interest in each of those underlying base units?
Yes, it does.
Okay. I have no further questions for Ms. Barr. I'd offer the land exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Prim, do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
John, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Yes, my name is John Prim. I'm a geologist for Cord Energy, parent company of Oasis Petroleum. Business address 1001 Fannin Street, Suite 1500, Houston, Texas 77002.
And John, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the geology underlying each of these requested spacing units?
Yes.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Prim be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
John, let's look at G1. Can you describe the structure underlying these proposed spacing units?
Sure. So G1 is a upper Bakken structure map in subsea TVD space showing contour intervals of 20 feet over the highlighted proposed spacing units in yellow, blue, and green. And it is showing that the Bakken formation is dipping due south across the units from approximately negative 7,900 subsea TVD to approximately negative 8,100 subsea TVD.
Okay. Then moving on to G2, can you take us through that isopac map?
Yep, so this is a middle Bakken isopac map in contour intervals of 2 feet. So you can see that there's a 46-foot contour going right through the center of the proposed spacing units. So average thickness across these spacing units is 46, but does range from 44 to 48, thickens slightly from west to east across the units.
Okay. And then G3, can you explain for us what you're showing us on your type log?
Yeah, so G3 is the Donald Dillon 1 in section 11 highlighted on the previous maps. It's a triple combo log showing the subsurface properties underlying the proposed spacing units.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for Mr. Prim. I'd offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Gates, do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Walker, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Yes, sir. My name is Walker Gates. I'm employed by Cord, a parent company for Oasis, as a development engineer, and the business address is 1001 Fannin Street, Suite 1600, Houston, Texas 77002.
And Walker, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, sir.
And are you familiar with the engineering matters that are associated with the proposed spacing units?
I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Gates be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Walker, let's start on E1 and that 2560 consisting of 211, 14, and 23. Can you take us through how you would develop that spacing unit?
Yes, sir. So Exhibit E1 is proposed development of the western 4-mile section. We are proposing to drill 3 4-mile wells south to north from a new build location located south.
Okay, and then let's switch over to E2, shifting to the east. How would you develop that 2560?
Yes, sir. So Exhibit E2 is proposed development of the eastern 4-mile section, where we're proposing to drill 3 4-mile wells from south to north in addition to a previously spaced 2-mile well in section 13 and 14 from a new build location in the south as well.
Okay. And then E3, how would you develop the 5120 for that lease line?
Yep. So again, proposing a single well, a lease line well, as part of this 5120 development. Again, we'll be drilling this from the eastern pad from south to north.
Okay. And then E4, just kind of take us through your kind of full development for these two.
So E4 shows that entire development of the area. Again, 3 wells in the 2560 to the west, 3 4-mile wells to the 2560 to the east, in addition to that 2-mile well in section 13 and 24, and a 4-mile well running up the section line in between the two sections. We plan to remote flow line the 3 4-mile wells on the western side over to the eastern pad.
Okay. And then moving on then to E5, can you summarize the reservoir data and then the economics?
Yes, sir. So E5 shows the reservoir data for the area. It shows the 3 proposed spacings, the 2560, 2560, 5120, with an OOIP of about 6 MMBO per 640 acre, a well EUR of 878 MBO, and the number of info wells will total out to 7, 3, 3, and 1. We're looking at an initial investment of $11 million per well, which leads to a rate of return of 82%. I do want to mention really quick the timing for these. We are looking at batch drilling all these wells in Q1 of 2026, completing them in Q2 of 2026, and the IP date of approximately Q2 of 2026. Due to the tight timing, we are requesting expedited well these spacing.
Okay. And Walker, in your opinion, if the commission approves these 3 spacing units to allow for that development you've described, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
It will.
Okay, I have no further questions. That offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Walker, do you plan to drill the section line well on the section line, or will it be offset at all?
We plan to drill it on the section line.
Then just to make it clear for the record, on the eastern 2560, it was requested to have 4 wells. However, based on your testimony, you are proposing 3 wells on the requested 2560 and then an additional well on the existing 1280 of 13 and 24. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Walker, looking at your exhibit 4, well, let me start this way. The existing wells on 2 and 11, 14, 23, 112, and 13, 24, those existing wells, are they all producing pretty similarly? They're all the same Middle Bakken target, correct?
That is correct, and they all have a similar MBO.
Okay. So you got 1 well on each of the existing 1280s. You're going to come in and drill 4-mile laterals. You're going to put 3 of them on one of the proposed spacing units, 3 of them on the other, which would be pretty well balanced. And then you still plan to put that additional 1280 well on 3 and 14. What's the reasoning or the need for that well?
I would say it's based on the Nelson having one of the lower MBOs in the area. With the Hog, we're approximately around the 300 MBO, with the Nelson's 240. And then in terms of just making sure we can adequately drain the reservoir.
So I guess your estimation is that 13 and 14 are slightly underperforming?
Very, very slightly, yes, sir.
If for some reason the commission wasn't okay with that additional 1280 well, and you had to drill just the 3 2560 wells, 4-mile laterals, would you I'm assuming you'd offset that well bore through 13 and 24 somewhat further to the east.
I'm sure we'd like to revisit the topic, but that would be my assumption.
There, just so you realize, there may be a little bit of a relative rights issue there with the 3 4-mile long laterals and then the additional well taking reserves off of 13 and 24. We'll be looking at it. Okay, I think that's all I got. Thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32109. Case number 32110, application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Dublin Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 27 and 34, Township 158 North, Range 100 West, and sections 3 and 10, Township 157 North, Range 100 West, Williams County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota. And I'm going to have the same 3 witnesses appearing in this case.
And they're still under oath.
And Cassidy, let's look at your exhibit L1. Can you identify the proposed 2560 you're requesting in this case?
Hey, Wade, this is Taylor Roberts. I'm going to be testifying on the land matters here.
Oh, okay. Is Walker still going to cover engineering, or is Eva on this one?
No, I'll still cover engineering.
Okay. All right. So, my apologies, Mr. Examiner. It'll be Taylor Roberts will be testifying the land on this.
Okay. Mr. Roberts.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, sir.
Taylor, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Sure. Taylor Roberts, Senior Staff Landman with Cord Energy, parent company of Oasis. Business address 1001 Fan Street, Suite 1500, Houston, Texas 77002.
And Taylor, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, sir.
And have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, sir.
And are you familiar with the land matters associated with the proposed spacing units?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Roberts be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Taylor, let's look at L1 then, if I can have you identify the 2560 that we're asking for in this case.
Sure. L1 regional locator map. The red box outlines the requested 2560 acre spacing unit composed of sections 27 and 34 of Township 158 North, Range 100 West, sections 3 and 10 of 157 North, 100 West in Williams County.
Okay. And then looking at L2, can you take us through the working interest?
Sure. The same legal description, sections 3 and 10 of 157, 100 West, sections 27, 34 of 158, 100. Oasis has a working interest of 76.64%.
And looking at L3, can you identify the working interest in the underlying spacing units?
Sure. Sections 3 and 10 of 157 North, 100 West is outlined in the red dash box, and Oasis has a working interest of 96.61%. And the green dash box, sections 27, 34 of 158, 100. Oasis has a working interest of 56.67%.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Roberts. I'd offer the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
John, can I have you look at G1 and describe the structure underlying this proposed spacing unit?
Yeah, so G1 is showing the upper Bakken structure, depth in subsea TVD space, contour intervals of 20 feet with the proposed spacing unit highlighted in the orange dashed line. I'll also point out that the type log shown in the previous exhibits, previous case, Donald Dillon 1 is highlighted there as well in section 11. And what the contours are showing is that the upper Bakken or Bakken formation in general, is dipping off to the south from approximately negative 7760 subsea TVD to negative 7960 subsea TVD south across the unit.
Okay. And then how about G2, the isopac map?
Yep, so G2 is centered over the same area with the proposed spacing unit highlighted in orange, and it is showing the middle Bakken thickness across the area. And as you can see, it's going from approximately 44 in the southwest of the proposed spacing unit to 46 feet thick in the northeast of the proposed spacing unit, for an average of about 45 feet thick across the entire proposed spacing unit.
Okay. And John, I think you indicated with this being directly to the west that this is the same type log you've got in G3 that you previously testified to.
Yes, that's correct. So it will be the same exhibit roughly as before.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Prim. I'd offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. Walker, let's look at E1, and can you tell us how you intend to develop this 2560?
Yes, sir. So E1 is proposed development, 2560 acre development of sections 27, 38, 30, and 16. We're proposing to drill 4 4-mile wells from south to north from a new drill pad. There's also a 2-mile lease line on the eastern side of the previously approved spacing. We are planning to P&A the Mary and drill next to it, just because it is an underperforming well, and that will make sense in terms of the spacing of the north and south section of this unit. If we look at the northeastern part of this, you'll see that a third-party operator has a well relatively close to the lease line. We're set back, but we believe this is the best development plan to drill that 2-mile lease line down south and then run the 4-mile side.
Okay. Let's look at E2 then. Can you take us through the reservoir data and then the economics?
Yes, sir. So E2 shows the reservoir data for the area. For this 2560 acre unit, we have an OIP of 6.5 MMBO per 640 acre, well EUR of 850 MBO. We're proposing 4 infill wells, then at an average well price of $70 per barrel, 375 per MCF, an investment of $11 million per well. We're expecting a rate of return of approximately 80%. And then in terms of timing here, proposed drilling is Q2 of 2027, completions of Q3 2027, IP also in Q3 of 2027.
Okay. And Walker, in your opinion, if this 2560 is approved for this development, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, it will.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Walker, looking at your E1, I just want to make sure we're clear on a couple things. The yellow 2-mile long lateral on the exhibit is already an approved lease line spacing unit well, correct?
That is my understanding, yes, sir.
Okay. And I think you indicated that it is offset to the west, but it's
correct.
Is it within the standard 200 or 250?
No, sorry, the lease line will be drilled directly over the lease line. We're not offsetting.
All right, so that well will be on the lease line. Okay. Yeah. And you indicated you were going to plug and abandon the Mary, the existing well in 3 and 10, correct?
Sir.
That well is a middle Bakken well?
That is.
Are you going to drill right over top in the same corridor, or are you going to offset that a little bit to the east?
We will be offsetting it just a touch. I know the cartoon drawing provided shows it's right on top.
Okay.
It will be
a little bit more equidistant between the section line and the other well on 3 and 10?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your intent is to leave the existing Hansen producing?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
concludes our hearing for case number 32110. Case number 32111, application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Cottonwood Bakken Pool, Montreal County, North Dakota to 1. Establish 2 overlapping laydown 2560 acre spacing units described as sections 25, 26, 27, and 28 and sections 33, 34, 35, and 36. Township 158 North, Range 92 West, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled on each such unit. 2. Establish 2 overlapping laydown 5120 acre spacing units described as sections 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. Township 158 North, Range 92 West, and sections 33, 34, 35, and 36. Township 158 North, Range 92 West, and sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. Township 157 North, Range 92 West, and authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled on each such unit. Or 3. Granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Oasis Petroleum North America, LLC. And Mr. Examiner, I believe we're going to have Taylor Roberts and John Prim again, but I think it will be Eva Tomova Medina on engineering.
Okay, you can proceed with Mr. Roberts.
All right. Taylor, let's look at L1 in this case, and if I can have you identify the proposed spacing units.
Sure. Exhibit L1, regional locator map. The solid orange line is one of the laydown requested 2560s. That consists of sections 25, 26, 27, 28 of 158 North, 92 West. The solid green line outlines sections 33, 34, 35, 36 of 158 North, 92 West, another laydown 2560. The dashed blue line represents the laydown 5120, being sections 21 through 28 of 158 North, 92 West. And the dashed purple line represents the last laydown 5120, consisting of sections 1 through 4 of 157 North, 92 West, sections 33 through 36 of 158 North, 92 West.
Okay. And looking at L2, can you take us through the working interest in that northern laydown 2560?
Sure. Oasis has a 73.5% working interest in sections 25 through 28 of 158 North, 92 West.
Okay. And then moving on to L3, the underlying spacing units that make up that 2560.
Sure. Green dash box being sections 25. Oasis has an 87.5% working interest. Red dash box being sections 26 and 35. Oasis has a 58.5% working interest. And the blue dash box representing sections 27 and 28. Oasis has an 81.5% working interest.
Okay. And then L4, shifting to the south, the working interest in that 2560.
Sure. Sections 33 through 36, the red box. Oasis has a 74.1% working interest.
Okay. And then L5, the underlying working interest in those spacing units.
Yep. Oasis has a 75% working interest in sections 36, 58.5% working interest in sections 26 and 35, and an 81.5% working interest in sections 33 and 34.
All right. And then L6, the working interest in that 5120.
Sure. Oasis has a 73.6% working interest in that 5120, consisting of sections 21 through 28 of 158 North, 92 West.
Okay. And then L7, I probably don't need you to go through each of these, but does that consist of the working interest in each of those underlying spacing units that make up that 5120?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's look at L8 then. Take us through the working interest in that 5120.
Sure. That 5120 Oasis has a 76.1% working interest of the red solid box.
Okay. And then same thing with L9. I think a lot of these have been covered, but does that make the underlying spacing units the working interest in each of those that we've got on L9?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Roberts, and I'd offer the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
I have some questions about some existing spacing units. Sections, probably, let's look at Exhibit L8. Sections 23, 26, and 35 are currently a stand-up 1920, and 24, 25, and 36 are a stand-up 1920. Would you want those to be terminated?
I believe so. I'll let the development engineer confirm, but I believe that's the game plan.
Should I wait for the engineer for the remaining lease line spacing units that need to be terminated?
I'm sorry, audio wasn't great. Can you repeat that for me, please?
There's some existing 2560 lease line spacing units that may also need to be terminated. Should I ask the engineer?
I believe so. If I can confirm and follow up, but without knowing the exact ones, I don't want to speak incorrectly.
I'll ask the engineer. Thanks.
You can proceed.
All right, John. Let's look at G1, and can you describe the structure underlying these spacing units?
Yeah, so G1 shows the upper Bakken structure in subsea TVD space, and underlying the proposed spacing units highlighted in the various colors in the dashed lines there. And it is showing, I won't go through each proposed spacing unit, but roughly it's showing that the Bakken formation is dipping off to the southwest from approximately 6,900 subsea, negative 6,900 subsea TVD to negative 7,200 subsea TVD. Also highlighted on that map is the Rosencrantz 4421H, a type log which will be shown in G3 in section 21 of 158 North, 92 West.
And let's move on to G2. What are you showing us on the ISOPAC?
Yeah, so ISOPAC map of the Middle Bakken over the same area with the same proposed spacing units highlighted. And it is showing that the Middle Bakken is thickening across these units slightly from approximately 34 feet thick in the east to 42 feet thick in the west, with an approximate average thickness of 38 feet thick across the proposed spacing units.
Okay, and then on G3, you take us through.
Yeah, G3 is that Rosencrantz 4421H that I pointed out in the previous exhibits, and is a triple combo log showing the subsurface properties underlying the proposed spacing units.
Okay, I have no further questions for Mr. Prim. I'd offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Ms. Tomova Medina.
Yes, sir.
You solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief.
Yes, I do.
Eva, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Yes, sir. My name is Eva Eva Tomova Medina, and I'm a development engineer with Port Energy / Oasis Petroleum. Our address is 1001 Phoenix Street, Suite 1500, Houston, Texas 77002.
And Eva, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, I have.
And are you familiar with the engineering matters associated with the proposed spacing units?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Ms. Tomova Medina be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Eva, let's look at your E1. Can you describe how you would develop each of these two laid-down 2560s?
Yes, sir. So on this exhibit in red, I'm highlighting the two proposed 2560 units, and the dashed purple lines are 4-mile wells, 4 in the north and 4 in the south. Surface locations have been scouted. The northern's actually built. That's about it for me. We will develop the northern unit first, and I think the spud is currently in April 2026. So we would need an expedited order for the northern. Well, for the whole day, I guess. And then the southern unit will be developed, currently spudding Q4 of 2026.
Okay. And then moving on to E2, how would you develop each of those proposed 5120s?
So the the two 5120s, the northern one will be developed along with the northern 2560, and the southern one will be developed along with the southern 2560. They'll be drilled right on the section line.
And then looking at E3, take us through the reservoir data and the economics.
Yes, sir. So E3 is showing the economics for the 2560 and the 5610, the northern one. Estimated well EUR at 957 MBO, and then PR10s of around 0.76. Can I move on to E4?
Yeah, so hang on, just that was, you said these economics, it was for the 2560 and then the 5120 to the north, correct? The first one?
Correct.
Okay, and then the next one in E4 is for the 2560 to the south, as well as that southern lease line on that 5120.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead
Yes,
and take
sir.
us through
Yeah.
that one.
Yep, on this one, the EORs are slightly lower just due to some existing wells in that southern DSU. So we're looking at around 869 MBO there and 0.6 for PR10.
Okay. And then, Eva, if these get approved to allow for this development, in your opinion, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. I'd offer the engineering exhibits and gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eva, some questions about some existing spacing units. We'll go back to the stand-up 1920s. 23, 26, and 35, and 24, 25, and 36 are each existing stand-up 1920s. Those should be terminated, correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And then the development of sections 23 and 24 are going to be covered today in the following cases?
Yes, we have two cases, 32112 and 32113.
Okay, if you look at Exhibit E2, there are some existing 2560 lease line spacing units. The first one, 27, 28, 33, and 34, 33, 34, 3 and 4, and 35, 36, 2 and 1. Should all of those be terminated?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eva, on Exhibit E1, you have a wellbore, current wellbore, in section 26 and 35. Is that wellbore going to be PN8 or continue to produce?
26 and 30. The one better. Oh, those will be, we'll evaluate it if it's economic to return to production. The stand up one.
Is that wellbore, do you know, in the same Middle Bakken area as what you're proposing for your new drills?
Yes, it's Metal Bakken well. We have experience steering around those, so we are not concerned with.
How about
that?
section 33 and 34, according to the cartoon here, it appears that you're drilling possibly either right over a current wellbore and or extremely close to it. Are those three on the southern part of that spacing unit going to be PN8 or continue to produce those wells?
So the one that we're gonna get closest to is the Three Forks well. Will be about 100 feet away from the Three Forks well. We'll, I guess, evaluate that one as it comes closer, but I'm assuming we will PNA the Three Forks well, but that'll depend on the production team. And we don't have plans to PNA.
Okay, so that well's in a Three Forks. And then
Correct.
exhibit E3, and I guess my own interest here, but on exhibit E3 you have 9.4 million for an investment, and on E4 you have 9.5. What would be the reasoning for the increase? Is that just simply surface location, or what's the additional cost for the same distance and so on?
Surface related.
Thank you. Eva, I guess while we're on E4, when you were discussing E4, you indicated that the wells on E4, the southern spacing unit, you're projecting a lower EOR for those wells. I believe you indicated due to the existing production that has come off of that spacing unit. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that,
we're expecting more depletion on the southern unit.
is that because of those 3 wells in the southwestern 1280?
Yes, sir.
While you're drilling your 4-mile laterals, I know you indicated you don't have a concern crossing the existing well bores, but do you plan to do anything special with your stimulations or your stimulations during across those intervals?
For now, no, but as we get closer to frac, we might look at changing our philosophy, but we have not changed our stage spacing.
I guess same question for that area where you're going to be drilling over that existing Three Forks well and relatively close to the existing Middle Bakken wells. Are you contemplating changing your completion strategy through that interval?
Again, the same answer probably there. Our completions team will review this as we get closer to executing here and determine whether or not they believe we need to dial back our intensity here.
Okay.
Side.
The southernmost lateral on the southern 2560, the one that basically drills on top of that Three Forks existing well. That 3-well pad in the southeast of what's that section 34. You're basically depicting your well going right through that kind of corridor where those wells would drop into the reservoir. Are you planning to steer around that little corridor entirely? Do you have gyros on the existing wells? What are your plans for anti-collision in there?
Yes, we're planning to obviously run anti-collision and make sure that we avoid any collision in here. Like I mentioned before, we have a lot of experience now drilling around and back building. So we feel very confident that our drilling team will be able to succeed with this operation.
And I guess like one last set of questions, probably on your exhibit E2, you're showing us the lease line corridor wells on the north end and the south end. Why not one down the middle here?
Just because of the spacing between the northernmost 2560 well and the southernmost 2560 on the north side. We just don't think that we can squeeze another sectional in well there.
Okay. Do you have the number for what your kind of idealized interwell distance is across all this?
Yes, I do. So it's between 1,000 and 1,100 feet inner well distance.
Okay, and obviously you're offsetting some of the existing production. So that northernmost well on the southern 2560, how close is that going to be to that north set of section lines?
So that would be the Craig 2BX will be about 1,100 feet from the Craig 3B, which is the northern. Is that the one that you're asking?
Yeah, so how far off of the section line does that put you? 550 feet?
Yes. So the northernmost will be on the section line, and then the southernmost will be 1,100 feet from the section line.
Yeah, I'm pause. Sorry, I'm evaluating the two 2560 wells north and south of the section line that you're quartering.
Oh yeah. It's 5. So they're both 550 off the section line. So the interval distance will be between the southernmost north 2560 and the northernmost southern 2560 will be 1,100 feet.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32111. Case number 32112. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Cottonwood Bakken pool to establish an overlapping stand-up 2560-acre spacing unit scrap the sections 112, 13, and 24, Township 158 North, Range 92 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Waitman, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Oasis Petroleum North America, LLC, and same 3 witnesses testifying in this case.
And they're still under oath.
All right. And Taylor, let's look at L1. Can you identify the proposed spacing unit in this case?
Sure. L1 is a regional locator map. The red box outlines sections 1, 12, 13, 24, Township 158 North, Range 92 West.
All right. Then moving on to L2, the working interest in that spacing unit.
Sure. Oasis has an 82.7% working interest in those lands.
And then L3, the working interest in the underlying spacing.
Sure. The green dash box outlines sections 1 and 12. Oasis has a 75.6% working interest. And the red dash box outlines sections 13 and 24. Oasis has an 89.9% working interest.
All right. No further questions for Mr. Roberts that are for the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, John. Let's look at G1. Can you describe the structure underlying this spacing unit?
Yep, so G1 is showing the upper Bakken structure map in subsea TVD space with contour intervals of 20 feet. The highlighted box shows the proposed spacing unit, and it's showing that underlying that proposed spacing unit, the Bakken formation is tipping off to the southwest from approximately negative 6680 subsea TVD to negative 6950 subsea TVD. I'll mention that the type log that I'll show on G3 is the same one that I've shown in the previous exhibit, that Rosencrantz 4421H in section 25, just to the south of the proposed spacing unit.
Sure. Then let's look at G2 and take us through that ISOPAC map.
And so this is a ISOPAC map of the middle Bakken over the same area, and it is in contour intervals of 2 feet, and it's showing an approximate thickness across the spacing unit of 36 feet on, or sorry, excuse me, 38 feet on average.
Okay. And then again, G3, as you've indicated, is that same type log that we've previously covered?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions that offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Eva, let's look at E1 and tell us how you would develop this 2560.
Yeah, so here we're showing the 2560 in the red box with the 4-mile wells in purple and the potential scouted location on the south. These are currently on the schedule for after 2027 or late 2027 actually. Yeah, they'll all be drilled at the same time.
Okay. And then how about the reservoir data and then the economics for these wells on E2?
Yep, so here we're looking at well EURs at around 800 MBO and discount Puritan of 0.64.
And even in your opinion, if the commission establishes this 2560, is that going to prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. I have no further questions that offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eva, I just want to go over some existing 1920s again. So we have 1, 12, and 13, and 24, 25, and 36. Are those okay to be terminated?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32112. Case number 32113. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Cottonwood Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping stand-up 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 2, 11, 14, and 23, Township 158 North, Range 92 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, and authorize 3 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Oasis Petroleum North America, LLC. And again, same 3 witnesses in this case.
And they're still under oath.
And Taylor, let's look at L1. Can you identify the 2560 you're asking for here?
Sure. L1 is our regional locator map. Red box outlines sections 2, 11, 14, 23 of 158 North, 92 West.
Moving on to L2, working interest for this one.
Sure. Oasis has a 57.3% working interest in the same described lands.
Okay, and then L3, the working interest in the underlying spacing units.
Sure. The red box, or red dash box, excuse me, sections 14 and 23, Oasis has 100% working interest. Section 11, outlined in the green dash box, Oasis has a 29.2% working interest. Excuse me. And section 2, outlined in the blue dash box, Oasis has a 0% working interest.
Okay. I have no further questions that offer the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Yeah, sorry. I guess, do you know who owns the majority in Section 2?
I believe so. We're still running title. Yes, sir.
Sorry, do you know who you anticipate having that majority? I didn't catch if you said.
Silver Hill owns a material interest in Section 2.
Okay, thank you.
You can proceed.
All right, John, let's look at G1, and can you describe the structure underlying this 2560?
Yeah, so G1 is actually the same map that I showed on the previous case. The box highlighting the proposed spacing unit has just been shifted to the west there. And it's showing that the Bakken formation is tipping off to the southwest similarly. In this proposed spacing unit, from approximately negative 6,750 subsea TVD to approximately negative 7,000 subsea TVD. And I'll also say that the same Rosencrantz 4421H type log will be used in G3 for this one as well.
Yep. And then the ISOPAC G2.
Yep. So this is Middle Bakken ISOPAC. showing that the average thickness underlying the proposed spacing unit for the Middle Bakken is between 38 to 40 feet thick. Average thickness approximately 39 feet across the proposed spacing unit.
Okay. And then G3, you've covered this previously as indicated.
Yes, same type log as before.
Yeah. I have no further questions that offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Eva, let's look at your E1. Tell us how you developed this 2560.
Yeah, so again, the red box shows the 2560 and the purple dashed lines show the 3 Bakken wells we're proposing here. And the potential surface location on the south side.
Okay. E2 then, the reservoir data and then the economics on these wells.
Yep. So here the well EOR is at 945 with discounted PIR10 of 0.75. And these are going to be developed at the same time with the case 3211-2, end of 27, early 28.
Okay. In your opinion then, Eva, if the commission establishes this 2560, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I have no further questions that offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eva, on Exhibit E1, on your prior case, you requested 4 wells in that spacing unit, and it's laid out somewhat similar with the current well bores. How come in this case you're only asking for 3?
So we're planning a spacing test in this area to understand as we move north what our spacing strategy should be.
So essentially you're trying to optimize your well spacing and determine what is appropriate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Eva's question on some underlying or some existing 1920s, sections 2, 11, and 14, and 23, 26, and 35 are existing 1920s. Are those okay to terminate?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32113. Case number 32114. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Enget Lake and or Cottonwood Bakken pools to establish an overlapping laydown 2560 acre spacing and described as sections 35 and 36, Township 158 North, Range 93 West, and sections 31 and 32, Township 158 North, Range 92 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled on such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Oasis Petroleum North America, LLC, and it'll be the same 3 witnesses.
They're still under oath.
All right. And Taylor, let's look at L1. Can you identify the spacing unit you are requesting in this case?
Sure. Exhibit L1 is our original locator map. That red box outlines sections 31 and 32 of 158 North, 92 West, sections 35 and 36 of sections 35 and 36 of 158 North, 93 West.
Okay. And then looking at L2, can you tell us what your working interest would be in that spacing unit?
Sure. Oasis has a 77.9% working interest in the requested 2560 acre spacing unit.
And then how about in the underlying spacing units, Exhibit L3?
Sure. The green dash box outlining sections 31 and 32. Oasis has a 96.7% working interest. In sections 35 and 36, Oasis has a 59% working interest.
Okay. I have no further questions after the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, John. Can you describe the structure underlying this
Yep.
spacing unit?
Yep, so G1 is showing upper block construction map, subsea TVD space with contour intervals of 20 feet. Proposed spacing unit outlined in the green dash box there. It is showing that the Bakken formation is dipping off to the southwest from approximately negative 7150 subsea TVD in the northeast of the proposed spacing unit to negative 7360 subsea TVD in the southwest. And as I've mentioned in previous cases, and I will for this one as well, the Rosencrantz 4421H is highlighted on this map as the type log that will be shown in G3. It's just to the northeast of the proposed spacing unit highlighted on the map.
Okay. And then G2, how about that isopac map?
Yeah, so the isopac map is showing that the middle Bakken is thickening from east to west across the proposed spacing unit. On the easternmost side of the spacing unit is approximately 44 feet thick and approximately 59 feet thick in the western side of the proposed spacing unit, with an average thickness of approximately 52 to 53 feet thick across the unit.
Okay. And then again with G3, we've gone through this with you before, same type log?
Yes, this is a carbon copy of the previous exhibit's type log exhibit.
Okay. I have no further questions that are for the geology exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Eva, let's look at E1, and can you tell us how you developed this requested 2560?
Yeah, so here again, the red box is the 2560 and the dashed purple lines are the 4-mile Bakken wells we're proposing for in this 2560 with the surface location on the ASP side off lease.
Okay. And then looking at E2, what does the reservoir and then the economics look like?
So for E2, we're looking at EORs at 945 MBO and discounted PR 10.75, 70 oil, 375 gas.
Okay. And in your opinion, if this 2560 gets established, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'll offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? That concludes our hearing for case number 32114. Case number 32115. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Enget Lake, Cottonwood and/or Sorkness Bakken pools to establish an overlapping laydown 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 35 and 36, Township 158 North, Range 93 West, sections 31 and 32, Township 158 North, Range 92 West, sections 1 and 2, Township 157 North, Range 93 West, and sections 5 and 6, Township 157 North, Range 92 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, and authorize one horizontal well to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Oasis Petroleum North America, LLC. And again, same three witnesses in this case.
They're still under oath.
All right. And Taylor, let's look at L1 if you can identify the requested 5120.
Sure. L1 is our regional locator map of the 5120 acre unit, composing of sections 35 and 36 of 158 North, 93 West, sections 31 and 32 of 158 North, 92 West, sections 1 and 2 of 157 North, 93 West, and sections 5 and 6 of 157 North, 92 West.
And then looking at L2, working interest in that requested 5120.
Sure. Oasis has a 78.7% working interest in the requested 5120 acre unit.
All right. And then L3, think you need to go through each and every one, but does this depict the underlying spacing that makes up that 5120 and the working interest in those spacing units?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Roberts that offer the land exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right. And John, I'm assuming this is pretty similar to previous case, but just briefly describe the structure underlying this spacing unit.
Yep. So same structure map. I've just highlighted this 5120 proposed spacing unit. And I'll just say similarly, dipping off to the southwest along the section line corridor from approximately negative 7220 sub-CTVD to negative 7360 sub-CTV.
Okay. And then G2, same with the isopac?
Yep, same thing, showing that thickening that I described from east to west that I described in the previous case. But similarly, about 52 feet average thickness along that section line corridor.
Okay. And then again on G3, this is the same type log that you've used before. Kind of walked us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Prim right after the geology exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
All right, Eva, let's look at E1. Can you tell us how you developed the 5120?
Yep, so the 5120 just south of the 2560 of the previous case will be developed at the same time with the 2560 from the same location. And for economics, identical to the previous case.
Okay. And in your opinion, then, if this 5120 gets established for the lease line development, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. I have no further questions that offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eva, do you plan to drill this section line well down the section line, or will it be offset?
It will be on this zero line.
Okay. Then there are a couple existing 2560s, section 31, 32, 6, and 5, and sections 35, 36, 2, and 1. Is it appropriate to terminate those?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Eva, this application is for the 5120 lease line well immediately to the south of the laydown 2560 in the previous case. Is there any reason you're not proposing a similar well to the north end of that laydown 2560?
Yes, it's there's an existing well to the north there. That's 550 off the section line. So we're gonna mirror that on the other side with the northernmost 2560 on the or northernmost well from the 2560 from the previous case. So the inner well distance will be around that 1100 feet. So we don't think it's necessary to have one on the north side.
Okay, thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32115. Case number 32116. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America LLC for an order suspending and after hearing revoking a permit issued to Silver Hill Energy Operating LLC for the drilling of the Nebraska E 158-92-5-29-3MBHX well located on the spacing unit for the Cottonwood Bakken Pool, consisting of sections 29 and 32, Township 159 North, Range 92 West, and Section 5, Township 158 North, Range 92 West, Burke and Montreal Counties, North Dakota, or grant such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been dismissed. Concludes our hearing for case number 32116. Case number 32117. Application of Oasis Petroleum North America for an order suspending and after hearing revoking a permit issued to Silver Hill Energy Operating LLC for the drilling of the Minnesota W 158-92-4-28-1MBHX well located on the spacing unit for the Cottonwood Bakken Pool, consisting of sections 28 and 33, Township 159 North, Range 92 West, and Section 4, Township 158 North, Range 92 West, Burke and Montreal Counties, North Dakota, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 32117. Case number 32118. Application of Enterplus Resources USA Corp. for an order amending the applicable order for the Hart Butte Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping laydown 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 19, 20, 21, and 22, Township 148 North, Range 92 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorize 6 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Enterplus Resources USA Corp. And we'll have 3 witnesses in this case. It'll be Keith Swiderski, land, and then John Prim will cover geology again. And then we'll have Caitlin McNeely on engineering.
Mr. Swiderski.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Keith, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Yes, my name's Keith Swiderski. I'm a senior staff landman with Interplus Resources, a subsidiary of Cord Energy. We're located in 1001 Bannon Street, Houston, Texas, 77002.
And Keith, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, sir.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, sir.
And are you familiar with the land matters associated with the spacing unit being requested?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Swiderski be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Keith, can I have you look at L1 and identify the 2560 you're asking for here?
Yes, so L1 is the regional locator map. The laydown 2560 that we're requesting is located in Township 148 North, Range 92 West, sections 19, 20, 21, and 22 of Dunn County.
Okay. And let's look at L2, and if I could have you tell us what your working interest would be in that spacing unit.
Yes, sir. In L2, our working interest in this proposed unit is 80.74%.
And then L3, each of those underlying spacing units?
Yes, sir. So it's made up of 2 separate laydown 1280 units. Unit A, Interplus is the operator with a 87.26% working interest. And Unit B, Interplus is also the operator with a 74.22% working interest.
Okay. I have no further questions, and offer the line exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? I'm going to swear in Mr. Prim again just because it's for a different company, so if that's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. Mr. Prim.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
I don't need to requalify him or anything, do I? Okay. John, let's look at G1 in this case, and if you could describe for us the structure underlying this spacing unit.
Yep, G1 is showing the upper Bakken structure map in subsea TVD space with contour intervals of 20 feet. It's showing that the Bakken formation is tipping off almost due west here across the proposed space unit from approximately negative 8040 subsea TVD to negative 8180 subsea TVD.
Okay, and let's go on into G2 and tell us what you're showing in that ISOPAC map.
Yep, so the G2 is showing the middle Bakken thickness in the ISOPAC map with contour intervals of 2 feet. It's showing that the middle Bakken is thickening from the east to the west, from approximately 32 feet thick in the east to 42 feet thick in the west, for an approximate average thickness across the unit of 37 feet thick. I'll also just point out on this exhibit the type log, the Bear Den 1, 3 miles approximately to the north of the proposed spacing unit in section 4.
All right. And then let's look at G3 and that type log that you just described. Can you tell us what you're showing?
Yeah. Yeah, so G3 is showing that Young Bear well that I highlighted on the previous exhibit. It's a triple combo log highlighting what we expect to encounter in the subsurface as far as properties go.
I have no further questions. I'd offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Ms. McNeely,
Yes.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Caitlin, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
My name is Caitlin McNeely. I'm a development engineer employed by Enerplus Resources, a subsidiary of Cord Energy, and I'm located at 1001 Bannon Street, Suite 1500, Houston, Texas 77002.
And Caitlin, have you previously testified before the commission?
I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the engineering matters associated with the requested spacing unit?
Yes.
Okay, I'd move the testimony of Ms. McNeely be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Caitlin, if I can have you look at your E1 and describe for us how you intend to develop the 2560.
Yes. So on E1, you'll see highlighted in red is that proposed 2560 unit. The purple sticks are the proposed wells. They are all middle Bakken. And we plan on drilling from an already built pad in gray on the west side of the unit.
Okay. Let's move on into E2, and if I can have you take us through the reservoir data and then the economics.
Yes, so as discussed, the plan is 6 by 4 mile wells in that unit, and we expect to recover about 981 MBO with an investment of around 12.1 million per well and a discounted PRR10 of 0.93.
Okay. And Caitlin, if this gets approved for this development, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes.
Okay, I have no further questions. I'd offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Caitlin, looking at your E1, I believe you indicated that all the wells would be drilled off that existing pad, correct?
Correct.
So that southernmost lateral that you're going to be drilling, you're going to end up with a little over 4 miles in total length by the time you get to TD.
Yeah.
Those existing pads that you see in the southeast of 22, do those wells stay out of the Bakken in the spacing unit?
Yes, they do.
So they stay above it on their way down? I'm just confirming those wells, but they don't enter the Bakken, and so you're not going to have to deal with anti-collision at the toe of that extended reach lateral.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Concludes our hearing for case number 32118. Case number 32119. Application of Kraken Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Blue Ridge and/or Winter Bakken pools, Williams County, North Dakota, to 1. Establish 2 overlapping stand-up 2560 acre spacing units, described as sections 30 and 31, Township 159 North, Range 100 West, and sections 6 and 7, Township 158 North, Range 100 West, and sections 29 and 32, Township 159 North, Range 100 West, and sections 5 and 8, Township 158 North, Range 100 West, and authorize 3 horizontal wells to be drilled in each such unit. 2. Establish an overlapping stand-up 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 29, 30, 31, and 32, Township 159 North, Range 100 West, and sections 5, 6, 7, and 8, Township 158 North, range 100 west, and authorize one horizontal well to be drilled in such unit, or 3, granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Wade Mann, P.O. Box 2798, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this case on behalf of Kraken Operating LLC. Got 3 witnesses in this case. We've got Justin Payne, Brian Lucero, and Samuel Fonseca. And I think I should have everybody available there.
Yes, sir. Wade, can you hear us?
Yep.
Mr. Payne,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Justin, can I have you state your name and tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
My name is Justin Payne. I'm a landman with Kraken Oil and Gas or Kraken Resources. Our business address is 945 Bunker Hill Road, Suite 1200, Houston, Texas 77024.
And Justin, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, I have.
Have you had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, I have.
And are you familiar with the land matters that are associated with the requested spacing units?
That is correct.
All right, I'd move the testimony of Mr. Payne be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Justin, do you guys have the ability to pull up your exhibits at all, do a share screen or no?
I believe so. Let me see if I can. Yep. Can you see him now, Wade?
Yep, there we got him. And then if you want to go to L1 and start us off there, and then Justin, if you can just kind of describe for us the area we're requesting these spacing units.
Sure. Exhibit L1 is our regional locator map showing the Blue Ridge Bakken Pool and the Winter Bakken Pool in Williams County, North Dakota, outlining Township 158 North, Range 100 West, as well as 159 North, Range 100 West.
And then if we could go on and look at L2, and if I could have you identify each of the spacing units you're asking for and then your working interest in those.
Sure. Exhibit L2 shows sections 30 and 31 with a working interest of 87.67%, sections 6 and 7 with a working interest of 75.49%. And moving over to the east, sections 29 and 32 with a 98.59 working interest, and then sections 5 and 8 with a 90.05% working interest. The 2,560 acre recap for sections 30, 31, 6, and 7 shown to the west shows Kraken with 81.58%. The 2,560 acre recap for sections 29, 32, 5, and 8 to the east shows Kraken with a working interest of 94.32%. And then for the 5120 recap, it shows Kraken with a working interest of 87.95%.
Okay. That's all the questions I have for Mr. Payne off the land exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Justin, there are some existing 2560s, sections 29, 30, 31, and 32, and sections 5, 6, 7, and 8. Would it be appropriate to terminate those?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Lucero,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, sir, I do.
Brian, can you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, in what capacity, and give us your business address?
Yes, sir. My name is Brian Lucero. I am geology manager for Kraken Resources. Our address is 945 Bunker Hill Road, Suite 1200, Houston, Texas 77024.
And Brian, have you previously testified before the commission?
Yes, sir, I have.
Had your qualifications received as that of an expert?
Yes, sir.
And you're familiar with the geology underlying these requested spacing units?
Yes, I am.
I'd move the testimony of Mr. Lucero be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And Brian, if I can have you look at G1 and then just describe the structure underlying these spacing units.
Yes, sir. G1 is a structure map based on the top of the Middle Bakken Formation. This map is on a 50-foot contour interval showing dip generally to the south. It also shows the location of our type log.
Okay. And then G2, the SPAC map?
Yes, sir. G2 is an isopacked map across the same area. This is on a 1-foot contour interval, showing a little bit of thinning to the southwest, and again shows the location of our type log.
Okay, and then looking at G3, that is that type log. Can you describe for us what you're showing there?
Yes, sir, it is. The type log for this area is the Dragseth #1, and it shows a representative log across the Middle Bakken Formation.
All right, that's all the questions I have. I'd offer the geology exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Fonseca.
Yes, sir. Fonseca.
Fonseca. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Samuel, can I have you state your name, tell us by whom you're employed, what capacity, and give us your business address?
Sure. Samuel Fonseca. I am employed by Kraken Oil and Gas, LLC, as a reservoir engineer. Our business address is 945 Bunker Hill Road, Suite 1200, Houston, Texas 77024.
And Samuel, have you previously testified before the commission?
No, sir.
Can I just have you briefly take us through your educational background as well as your relevant work experience?
Sure. I graduated with a petroleum engineering degree from the University of Houston back in 2017. I joined the downstream service company, worked there for 2.5 years as an asset integrity engineer. Then I came over to Kraken Oil and Gas as a petroleum engineer, and I transitioned over to the reservoir group back in 2022.
And Samuel, are you also familiar then with the engineering matters that are associated with these proposed spacing units?
I am.
Okay. I'd move the testimony of Mr. Fonseca be received as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
And let's start, Samuel, with E1, that first 2560. And if you could describe for us how you developed that 2560.
Sure. Exhibit E1 is our proposed development diagram for the Campbell Manchuck. Those wells outlined in three infill units targeting Middle Bakken.
Okay. And then E2, shifting to the east, that other 2560 you're asking for, how would you develop that one?
So yes, Exhibit E2 is another proposed development diagram for the other 2560 outlined in yellow. Those are the Holmes Chase wells. Pretty identical. We'll try to space out about 950 from the interwell spacing and about 1,000 feet from the existing wells. I believe all these legacy wells here are Middle Bakken wells as well. So.
Okay. And then looking at your E3, you show the development for that 5120. Can you tell us how you're going to do that?
Yes, Exhibit E3 is our third proposed development diagram here outlining the Holmes Chase lease line in gray. It'll be drilled on top of that lease line corridor.
All right. And looking at E4, how would you propose to drill and complete the wells?
Exhibit E4 outlines our wellbore schematic for the 20,000-foot lateral. It's comprised of a 4 drill string design with our conductor, surface casing, intermediate casing, and the production liner. We are planning to have 160 feet per stage and do a plug and perf on these wells, all of them identical.
Okay. And then looking at E5, can you summarize the reservoir data you've got there for the 2560s?
Yes, sir. Exhibit E5 shows our reservoir properties. Again, as mentioned, we're targeting the Middle Bakken. The thickness is estimated between 25 to 35 feet in this area. Roughly 50 to 100 psi of initial reservoir pressure. For the 2560 units, we estimate a recovery factor of 3 to 4%, modeling 710,000 barrels of oil. And then we modeled GOR steadily increasing out to the 24 months, which then will be held flat thereafter.
Okay. And it looks like E6, you've got reservoir data, but you've got it for the 5120. I'm assuming that's pretty much the same, except for the slight change in the reserves. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about E7? Can you take us through what the economics look like for the 2560 wells?
Yeah. The exhibit E7 shows the single well economics. Here, as mentioned previously, we're modeling 710,000 barrels of oil. Initial capital expenses of $12.2 million. We ran this at $65 oil and $3.50 gas, which yields an IRR of roughly 47% and a net present value of 10% at $4.77 million per well. The discounted return on investment here is 1.54, and the payout is roughly 2.5 years. And we do have midstream gathering already here shown as Kraken marketing for the oil, ONEOK for the gas, and Hydro Services will be gathering the water.
Okay. And then E8, it looks like you've also broke it down for 5120, but presumably the economics for the 5120, the lease line well would be essentially the same as what you just testified to.
That's correct.
And Samuel, in your opinion, if the commission approves these 3 spacing units to allow for this development, would that prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, it would.
Okay. I have no further questions. I'd offer the engineering exhibits and the gas capture plan affidavit.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Looking at Exhibit E1, can you go through each of the spacing units and let me know where the proposed pads are going to be?
Yes, we're planning to have two pads coming from the south, roughly in section 18, right under that existing well there that you see, but just south of that. And similar on 17, I believe that well that's the Holmes 8-5, so just south of that pad as well in section 17.
Okay, for the section line well, will it be drilled down the section line or do you plan to offset it?
Down the section line.
Then will you be batch drilling these wells?
Yes, we will.
All right, thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32119. Case number 32120. Application of Burlington Resources Oil and Gas Company, LP, for an order amending the applicable orders for the Boxcar Butte and/or South Boxcar Butte, Boxcar Bakken pools to establish an overlapping laydown 1280-acre spacing unit described as sections 21 and 22, Township 148 North, Range 102 West, McKenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit, while granting such other relief as may be appropriate. The case has been continued to our October hearings. That concludes the hearing for case number 32120. Case number 31982. Application of Burlington Resources Oil and Gas Company, LP, for an order amending the applicable orders for the Bennett Creek and/or Branch Creek Bakken pools to establish an overlapping stand-up 2560-acre spacing unit described as sections 26 and 35, Township 147 North, Range 99 West, and sections 2 and 11, Township 146 North, Range 99 West, McKenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 31982. Case number 31928. Application of Burlington Resources Oil and Gas Company, LP, for an order amending the applicable orders for the Bully Bakken pool to establish an overlapping 1920-acre spacing unit described as sections 25 and 36, Township 148 North, Range 99 West, and Section 1, Township 147 North, Range 9 in West Mackenzie County, and authorize 6 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit and granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. Concludes our hearing for case number 31928. Case number 31929. Application of Burlington Resources Oil and Gas Company LP for an order amending the applicable orders for the Bully, Bakken Pool, Mackenzie County, North Dakota to 1. Establish 2 overlapping stand-up 2560 acre spacing units described as sections 1, 12, 13, and 24 and sections 2, 11, 14, and 23, Township 148 North, Range 9 West, and authorize 6 horizontal wells to be drilled on each such unit. 2. Establish an overlapping stand-up 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, 14, 23, and 24, Township 148 North, Range 9 West, and authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled in such unit. Or 3. Granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. Concludes our hearing for case number 31929. Case number 31930. Application of Burlington Resources Oil and Gas Company LP for an order amending the applicable orders for the Bully and or Haystack Butte Bakken pools to establish an overlapping stand-up 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 1, 12, 13, and 24, Township 148 North, Range 99 West, and sections 6, 7, 18, and 19, Township 148 North, Range 98 West, Mackenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 31930. Case number 31977. Application of Burlington Resources Oil and Gas Company LP for an order amending the applicable orders for the Bully and or Haystack Butte Bakken pools to establish an overlapping stand-up 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 25 and 36, Township 148 North, Range 99 West, sections 30 and 31, Township 148 North, Range 98 West, sections 1 and 12, Township 147 North, Range 99 West, and sections 6 and 7, Township 147 North, Range 98 West, Mackenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled in such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 31977. I'm going to note it's close to 12. We have a handful of Phoenix cases remaining. Do you want to break for lunch or want to try to push through?
My opinion is we would be time well spent to go ahead and go forward. There's nothing too remarkable in them that would consume a lot of time.
Okay, then we will proceed.
If you're willing.
I am willing.
Okay.
I just want to make sure everyone's comfortable with that. Case number 32121. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Black Slough Leaf Mountain Bakken pool to establish an overlapping 3840 acre spacing unit described as sections 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, and 14, Township 161 North, Range 93 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and to authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, Tom Throne, P.O. Box 1056 in Sheridan, Wyoming. Appearing on behalf of Phoenix, I have 3 witnesses, 2 in person, Mark Johnson, the land witness, Eric Shivey, the engineering witness, and Keith Coffendaffer is appearing remotely via Teams and is on the screen. He's geology.
Mr. Johnson, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief? I do.
Mark, would you please give your name and work address for the record?
Mark Johnson, 4643 South Ulster Street, Denver, Colorado, 80237. And I am Executive Vice President of Land, Regulatory, and HSE at Phoenix.
And have you previously been accepted as an expert witness in land matters?
I have.
And are you personally familiar with all of the applications we'll be having today?
I am.
I would ask that Mr. Johnson be accepted as an expert in petroleum land matters.
Motion granted.
Starting with Exhibit 1, would you please explain the lands that are subject to 32121?
Yeah. Exhibit 1s are kind of scanned out regional map showing the area of interest outlined in red in the northwest kind of corner of Burke County. Zoom into Exhibit 2. It tightens it up. Our base unit is sections 1, 12, and 13, and this is just a lease line to the west. So it would include 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, and 14 of 16193. Exhibit 3 zooms in even further to show the proposed 3840 spacing unit of 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, and 14 of 16193, where Phoenix currently owns a 50.1% working interest.
And will Phoenix cooperate with the other working interest owners in developing this spacing unit?
We will.
And did you execute the gas capture affidavit attached as Exhibit 9?
I did.
I would ask that Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 9 be admitted into the record.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
I have a question on the underlying 1280 of 2 and 11. Does Phoenix operate that?
We do not.
I'm assuming you operate 1, 12, and 13?
Correct.
Do you plan to batch drill this well with other wells in that 1920?
Yes.
So 2 and 11 currently do not have any wells active on them, and as a stipulation to this lease line well, a development would need to first occur in 2 and 11. So.
Okay.
Mr. Shivy, please raise your hand.
Would you like geology to go first?
Well, you have Shivy here first. Okay, you want Keith to go next?
Yes. I'd like Keith to go next, yes.
Yep.
And
Mr. Coffindaffer.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Not for that one.
Keith, before we get started, can you share your geology exhibits on the screen? Do you have the ability to do that? And
Should.
we're on 32121. If you can't do it, we can move on because we all have copies.
No, I can.
Yeah. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Okay, are we there?
Yep, we are. Would you please state your name and work address for the staff?
Certainly. My name is Keith Coffindaffer. My work address is 4643 South Ulster Street, Suite 1510 in Denver, Colorado, 80237.
And for whom do you work and in what capacity?
I work for Phoenix Operating LLC as a senior geologist.
And have you previously been accepted as an expert witness in petroleum geology?
Yes, sir, I have.
I would ask that Mr. Coffindaffer be accepted as an expert witness in petroleum geology.
Motion granted.
Starting with Exhibit 4, would you please describe the structure map for the this area?
Certainly. So here we see a structure map hung on the middle Bakken. We see the proposed 3840 acre spacing unit outlined in red, as was described
previously, and we see a cross-section line from A to A prime in the gold colors with a type log denoted at A prime in the gold text box there. We can also see the middle Bakken horizontal wells and Three Forks horizontal wells in the area denoted by the black and indigo colors there respectively. We see the structure of the middle Bakken dipping gently to the south-southwest across the proposed spacing unit.
Okay, moving on to Exhibit 5, please describe the cross-section as well as the type log and the reservoir properties.
Certainly. So here we see a cross-section hung on the upper Bakken Shale. It's a very correlative marker for us all here in the Williston Basin. And we see our middle Bakken outlined there in the center. We do see it's present and continuous across the acreage position from A to A prime as denoted on Exhibit 4. And the type log noted at A prime, the J. Hiram Moore 132, the reservoir properties there that we anticipate experiencing in this acreage unit, proposed spacing units, are depths of about 86-48 feet, average porosity of about 7%, average water saturation of 27%, average thickness 54 feet. And using a BOI of 1.5, we calculate an OOIP per section of 9.2 million barrels per section.
I have no further questions from Mr. Keith and Coffindaffer and would ask that Exhibits 4 and 5 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? Mr. Shivy, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do. Okay, Eric, would you please state your name and work address for the record?
Yes, it's Eric Shivy. I'm with at 4643 South Ulster Street, Suite 1510 in Denver, Colorado, 80237.
And who do you work for and in what capacity?
For Phoenix Operating LLC, I'm the Vice President of Reservoir Engineering and Corporate Reserves.
And have you previously been accepted as an expert in petroleum engineering?
I have.
I would ask that Mr. Shivy be accepted as an expert in petroleum engineering.
Motion granted.
Starting with Exhibit 6, please describe the wellbore.
Yes, Exhibit 6 is our standard 3-string casing design that we use in the Williston Basin. 4.5-inch liners cemented in place for 3-mile laterals. We typically complete 80 stages at 1,000 pounds per foot.
Moving on to Exhibit 7, would you please describe the development ideas for this proposed well? And then I would like you to expand on Phoenix's development proposals for 112 and 13, as well as 211 and 14 to the extent you know.
Sure. Right now we have a pad centrally located in the northern part of Section 1, developing in-unit wells 1, 12, and 13, and we're talking about the lease line well on the west. There is a hard line. We would be batch drilling all of these in addition to the next case you will be hearing. We have a proposed lease line on the eastern half of this DSU. We would be batch drilling, like I said, anticipated spud of June of 2026. This is actually our first development plans as a company in Burke County. So this is our proposed first unit. We have other units in mind that we would like to develop up here.
Okay, moving on to Exhibit 8, would you please describe the well economics that you are anticipating?
Yes, Exhibit, or first table rather, is describes our ARPS equation parameters. EUR of oil of 405 MBO with a EUR of gas of 490 MMCF. I'll add that as this is an not exploratory, but our first well in the area, we are tending to lean a little conservative on the well estimates. The economics are run below at $65 flat oil, $3 per MCF of gas, associated a drill cost for 3-mile laterals, D&C cost of $10 million. The OPEX parameters we assume for our economics are listed. Assuming 8/8 economics with a 20% royalty, that's a PV10 of about $2.8 million, an internal rate of return of 27%. a payout of roughly 33 months.
Okay, I have no further questions from Mr. Shivy and ask that Exhibits 6, 7, and 8 be admitted into the record.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eric and/or Mark, you might need to team up on answering this a little bit. But to follow up on Ashley's question from earlier, do you have any idea what the development plan might be for 2 and 11 to the west? Have you discussed anything with offset operators?
We have not. I do not know the plan for 2 and 11.
Do you know who would be the majority interest owner in there?
I would say Phoenix. Just looking at my map that I have we have lots of acreage in 2 and 11.
Okay.
But none in 14. I mean, yeah, I'll have to look into that a little bit more, but I do believe we have a strong majority in 2 and 11.
Okay. But you don't operate the well in 14 and 23, do you?
We do not.
No.
Was that Oasis?
I believe Oasis, Mark, yes.
Yeah.
Now Court.
As Ashley indicated, it's often a stipulation on a lease line well that all the offset or the underlying spacing units need development on them. Your timing, you indicated a June 26th spud.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to discuss that internally. I would still like to go forward with the lease line and with that stipulation, and if we can't make something work, then we'll abandon the lease line corridor. But I would like to have the option to have it, like I said, written in the order, and we'll see what we can do on our side to get a well in 2 and 11.
Okay. Do you think you'd be able to supply a potential kind of offsetting development scenario in this case, what you might foresee happening?
Yep, I think that's possible, yes.
Yeah, we're going to need to obviously talk with Oasis and see what their plan is for 14, but yeah, we can talk with them about it.
Okay. I'll ask for that supplemental then if you can get a chance to discuss it with them and submit something for the record in this case. I don't know what kind of timing you need.
That's fine. I would think that would take a bit more time because it involves discussions with others. So, Mark, by the October docket, would that be sufficient if we left the record open till then?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that acceptable with you?
That should be fine.
Yeah. And Phoenix is never opposed to drilling 2 milers, so maybe it's just a 2 and 11. You know, we'll have to discuss that internally. So
yeah, if that's what it ends up being, and you show us that on the development scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
What's the date of the October docket, Sarah? Do you know?
22nd, 23rd, something like that, isn't it?
Okay, the record will remain open in this case until October 22nd.
Thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 32121.
And before we get started, Keith, you might start putting your exhibits up for the next case.
Case number 32122. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for Black Slough Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping 3840 acre spacing unit described as sections 1, 12, and 13, Township 161 North, Range 93 West, and sections 6, 7, and 18, Township 161 North, Range 92 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and to authorize one horizontal well to be drilled on such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, Tom Throne, P.O. Box 1056 in Sheridan, Wyoming. I have the same 3 witnesses as we had in the last hearing.
And they're still under oath.
Mark, would you please start with Exhibit 1 and explain the lands that are subject to this application in conjunction with the docket we just heard?
Yeah, so Exhibit 1 is just our zoomed out regional map. This is literally the section, 3 miles section just to the east of our base unit, the other lease line well to what we just spoke about. Exhibit 2 zooms in, and you can see we're speaking of sections 1, 12, and 13 of 16193 and 6, 7, and 18 of 16192 in Burke County. Exhibit 3 zooms in even further, and it shows the 6 sections. As Ashley pointed out, in section 6, there is currently not production. And as Eric previously mentioned, we do have other units proposed in the area, so we may just have to pivot to one of those where we can get other stuff production online, so we can drill these lease lines. But in the 3840 in question here, Phoenix currently owns a 48.9% working interest.
And you intend to cooperate with the other working interest owners in developing?
We do.
I have no further questions for Mr. Johnson and ask that exhibits 1, 2, and 3 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
So, looking at the underlying spacing unit of 31 and 6, does Phoenix have the largest working interest?
Yes.
Okay. So similar to what Rich asked for in the last case, I would ask that you supplement with the development plan for the spacing units to the east of this section line.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. So yeah, we can put that together too.
Okay.
So
thank you.
You can proceed.
Mr. Coffindaffer, could you put your exhibits up?
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Start.
Are we there?
I am. Are you ready, Keith?
I am, yes, sir.
Starting with Exhibit 4, describe the structure map, and my guess is this is the same exhibit as we heard in the last hearing.
That is correct, sir. But to go into it, it is a structure map hung on the middle Bakken. As we see, the A to A prime line is untouched here. The proposed spacing unit is outlined in red as it was before, and the middle Bakken horizontal wells and Three Forks horizontal wells are denoted by black dots and indigo dots respectively. And we see the structure of the middle Bakken is dipping gently to the south-southwest as it was in the previous case.
Okay, and is there any changes to Exhibit 5 on the cross section?
No, sir, there is not.
And the reservoir properties are the same?
That's correct.
I would ask Exhibits 4 and 5 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Shivy?
Yes.
Would you start with Exhibit 6 and describe the well bore to the extent that it's different than the pressed exhibit?
I'll say it's identical to the previous case, Exhibit 6.
Okay, now discuss on Exhibit 7 Phoenix's proposed drilling plan for this lease line well, and if you know, also discuss Phoenix's other plans.
Yes, right now this is the same as the previous Exhibit 7, where we're just highlighting the DSU, the 6 units with a lease line right on the hard line between the 2 DSUs.
And is Phoenix hoping to develop the underlying lands?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and Exhibit 8, are the well economics the same?
These are identical to the previous case as well.
I would ask that Exhibit 6, 7, and 8 be admitted into the record, and I forgot to ask Mark Johnson, did you execute the gas capture affidavit as Exhibit 9?
I did.
And ask that Exhibit 9 be admitted into the record as well.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Just one clarifying question, Eric. I think when you were mentioning the lease line well, you might have said that the lease line well we drilled down the hard line. I'm assuming you mean the section line corridor.
Correct, the section line corridor.
Thank you.
Record will remain open in this case until October 22nd. That concludes our hearing for case number 32122. Case number 32123. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for Kittleson Slough Bakken Pool to allow a well to be drilled and completed in such a manner so as to allow the horizontal well bore to be located not less than 400 feet from the eastern boundary of the spacing unit, comprised of sections 21, 28, and 33, Township 158 North, Region 91 West, Montreal County, North Dakota, as an exception to the applicable setback requirements or grants to the relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, Tom Throne again appearing on behalf of Phoenix Operating, and I have the same three witnesses.
And they're still under oath.
Okay, Mark, starting with Exhibit 1, please describe the lands that are subject to this application.
Exhibit 1 is just again our zoomed out regional map showing the proposed well in question outlined in red in the north of Montreal County, North Dakota. Exhibit 2 zooms in and you can see the section again in the 1920 in red of sections 21, 28, and 33 of 15891 in Montreal County. And then as you go to Exhibit 3, a little bit more detail here, you can see again the 1920 that's already established. And in this 1920, Phoenix currently owns 84.7%. Just a little background here. So we had previously had on the docket to have an eastern lease line well. That was opposed by EOG, and we've since been working with them, and they ask us obviously not to do the lease line well because they were going to put their well right on the 500-foot hard line. So just since we've already drilled some wells in here, which you'll see on a later exhibit that Eric will talk about, to get our spacing as best optimal as we could is why we're asking for the 400-foot instead of the typical 500-foot hard line.
And you've had discussions with EOG on the exception location?
I have.
And they are in agreement with you having the exception location 400 feet, or not closer than 400 feet?
That's correct.
Okay, and would you move on and explain what you have attached as Exhibit 3A?
3A is the supplemental application that Tom helped us file with all the folks that we notified of this exception location. You can see those are, it's a quite a lengthy list there of all the folks we notified. That was with the help of EOG. They helped provide lots of that information. And then after you get through the list of owners, you can see the proposed map that we sent along with that application, which I can explain, or Eric can expand on that later. And the last page is just the affidavit that all the landowners were notified with this application.
And did you execute the gas capture affidavit as Exhibit 9?
I did.
I would ask that Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 3A, as well as 9, be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Mark, or I guess the parties notified in the supplemental, which, I guess, give me a summary of the types of parties notified.
I can tell you that since I signed the affidavit.
Go ahead, Tom.
All of the lessees in the adjoining spacing areas, which would be 22, 27, and 34. And Phoenix owns some working interest in offsetting sections, and the statute requires us to provide notice to their lessors, which we did that as well. So the notice was provided to the adjoining lessees, and if we own the lease, the adjoining lessors.
And any unleased mineral owners?
And unleased mineral owners, there weren't any, but unleased mineral owners as well. In all cases in the adjoining spacing unit.
Okay. Thank you.
You can proceed.
Mr. Coffindaffer, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Starting with your Exhibit 4, which is up on the screen, would you please describe the cross-section, the geologic structure map here for the Middle Bakken?
Certainly. So as mentioned, this is a structure map on the Middle Bakken formation. And the proposed 1920 acre spacing unit is outlined in red along with the A to A prime cross section line. That's with the other case numbers that Phoenix has done today in gold. And the type log is denoted at A dot location. We can also see the Middle Bakken horizontal wells and Three Forks horizontal wells in this map denoted by the black dots and the indigo dots respectively. As for the structure of the Middle Bakken, we see that it is dipping to the southwest evenly across the proposed spacing.
Okay, moving on to Exhibit 5, please describe this cross-section that you showed on Exhibit 4 as well as reservoir properties.
Certainly. So this is A to A prime, the three wells involved in the cross-section. We see the type log called out at the A location, that is the Far Heart 1111H. Here we can see that the cross-section is hung on the Upper Bakken Shale, a continuous marker bed along the whole Williston Basin. We see that the Middle Bakken formation is present and continuous across the proposed spacing unit with reservoir properties of an approximate depth of 9641 TBD feet, approximate porosity of 8%, average water saturation of 36% in the area, gross average thickness of 42 feet, and using a BOI of 1.5, we calculate an OOIP per section of 7.2.
I have no further questions for Keith, and they ask that Exhibits 4 and 5 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Okay, Eric, is Exhibit 6 any different than the other Exhibit 6s we have looked at?
No, this is our standard 3-string design again in the Williston Basin for all of our wells.
Okay, moving on to Exhibit 7, would you please describe the proposed exception location?
Yes, it's the dashed green line there to the right, the very right one in sections 21, 28, and 33. Again, as Mark commented, we were asking for an exception location 400 feet from the hard line between the two DSUs. We would plan to batch drill these December of this year. 2 wells in this proposed DSU 21, 28, and 33. We'd also be drilling 2 wells to the south. We operate sections 4 and 9. So a total of 4 wells, again, spudding in December of this year. You'll also notice we indicate the 3 western wells, the 3 Mallards. There's 2 Bakkens and a Three Forks between them. Those came online Q1 of this year. The diagonal well in section 33 was plugged at that time late last year when we spudded the wells there. And the existing 21, 28 well is a Bakken well, the Enos, that is still producing.
You heard that Mark volunteered you to discuss the Exhibit B plat from 3A.
Yes.
Turn to that and describe that a little bit for that exhibit, excuse me.
Yes, it kind of follows what I was saying with the exhibit I was just talking about. The The well in question we're asking for is that diagonal line there, 400 feet offsetting the hard line between the DSUs 21, 22, 28, 27, 33, and 34. 22 and 27 there are operated by EOG. 34 is operated by us and goes south into the Cross Township. We would be developing that unit as well.
Okay, now moving on to Exhibit 8. Please describe the economics you anticipate in this well.
Yes, for a 3-miler in this area, the ARPS parameters are listed above. The first table, initial rate of about 17,000 barrels of oil a month. These behave relatively flat, so initial decline of 46%. The GOR in the area is around 1,600 SCF per barrel. This yields an EUR of about 520,000 barrels of oil and 820 MMCF of gas. The second table are the economics we provide at 8/8 with running at a flat oil price of $65 and again $3 per MCF. D&C costs of approximately $10 million per well. OPEX for variable and fixed are listed and provided there. Assuming a royalty of 20%, this is again approximately a PV10 of 2.8 million, internal rate of return of 25%, and a payout of approximately 26 months.
I would ask that Exhibits 6, 7, and 8 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eric.
Yes.
Actually, let's use that Exhibit B from Exhibit 3A, Exhibit B.
I'm flipping to that.
So it was mentioned by Mark earlier that the original proposal had been opposed by EOG, and there was conversations with EOG about a well being located 500 feet off, or basically right on the 500-foot setback.
They are proposing in 22 and 27 they will be 500 feet off of that line.
Okay.
Great.
Do you happen to know what the timing of that development is?
I don't.
I would say it's in mid 2026. I'm helping that, like Eric spoke earlier, we own Section 34 where I'm putting another well pad, and I'm working with EOG so we can both fit our well pads in there. So I would anticipate that they're going to be in this area in 2026 also, because they're developing a pad as quickly as I am.
Okay. And in that Section 34, to the south of EOG's spacing unit, where are you planning to locate your westernmost well at this time?
For the AFSEF.
For the AFSEF, I would have to look at my development plan, but I believe it is an in-section well, 500 feet off of the section line between 33 and 34.
Okay.
But I can follow up with you on that.
I was debating asking for a supplemental. I think I will. If you can depict where you understand EOG plans to place their well and where you plan to place your well on 34, and elaborate on any timing you can give us on both of those developments.
Sure. I can't say I know for right after this unit here, we would be moving east to that AFSEF to drill as it stands on the drilling schedule. So
okay.
The only thing I wouldn't know is EOG's timing, but we can follow up with them.
But they did confirm yesterday or the day before that I asked them again, and they're going to be right on the 500.
Really close to it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, just provide that exhibit of your understanding of what your discussions have indicated. I guess getting back to the reasoning and the need for the well to be placed at that 400 foot, rather than say just inside the 500 foot. What is your idealized interwell distance in the spacing unit?
We typically like to be about 1,000 feet apart between the middle Balkans at a minimum. So with us drilling this 400 foot exception location, and EOG being 500 foot in their section 22 and 27, that's 900 feet apart.
So you're 900 feet off of that. Yeah. Your exhibit is showing us, so I'm looking at Exhibit 7 now.
Okay.
Your exhibit is showing us you'd be about 850 feet off of the other well you plan to drill in?
Correct.
And do you have a rough distance you try to stay off of existing?
Well, you could actually see that in here. You see that existing Enos well. We're about 1,300 feet off of that existing well there. So we're staying a little further off that existing well.
13 or looks like 11 or...
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. It's 1190. Pardon me.
So,
1,200 feet.
1,200 feet is what you try to stay off of
existing well there.
So if you were forced to move it in, by that additional 100, 150 feet, you'd probably end up moving your other lateral in and encroaching on that existing lateral, as well as having them closer than you'd prefer.
Correct. That is correct. And we are also, if there is a higher oil price and stuff, there is the potential for Three Forks development in here too. So we're allowing for extra, distance to slot in Three Forks development, as you see on the western side of this DSU. So that's another reason for the spacing.
Okay. Thank you.
Eric, if the commission was to deny the 400-foot setback and mandate you stay with the 500, would Phoenix still drill these well?
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
So, looking at the case caption, it says you're requesting that the well be drilled no less than 400 feet from that section line. So if we grant you the hard line at 400 feet, where would you actually drill that well bore from that hard line?
Like 50 feet off.
Yeah, probably 450 off to be,
And that's acceptable?
I think it would be, yes.
Okay, thank you.
What's Phoenix internal drill policy as far as how close that they'll get to hard lines and feel comfortable with it?
Typically, it's standard 500 feet. We would do 550. We'd allow ourselves a 50 foot. So,
50 foot's your...
It's pretty standard, yes.
Record will remain open in this case until October 22nd. That concludes our hearing for case number 32123. Case number 32124. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Ranch Creek and/or Lone Butte Bakken pools to establish an overlapping 5120 acre spacing unit described as sections 1 and 12, Township 146 North, Range 99 West, and sections 25 and 36, Township 147 North, Range 99 West, and sections 6 and 17, Township 146 North, Range 98 West, and sections 30 and 31, Township 147 North, Range 98 West, Kenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize one horizontal well to be drilled on such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been dismissed. Concludes our hearing for case number 32124. Case number 32125. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Bully Bakken pool to establish a stand-up 1920 acre spacing unit described in sections 12, 13, and 24, Township 147 North, Range 99 West, McKenzie County, North Dakota, and authorize 4 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. All interested parties, please come forward.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Tom Throne, appearing on behalf of Phoenix Operating, have the same 3 witnesses as we had in the previous cases.
And they're still under oath.
Okay, Mark, starting with Exhibit 1, describe the lands that are subject to this application.
Yeah, Exhibit 1 is our zoomed out regional map. You can see the proposed 1920 in red, kind of in the southeast corner of McKenzie County, North Dakota. As you go to Exhibit 2, you can see the 1920 in question of sections 12, 13, 24 of 147.99. And Exhibit 3 zooms in even further of 12, 13, and 24 of 147.99. Currently, Phoenix has a 16.7% working interest in this proposed 1920. The east half of Section 12 and Section 13 and 24 are currently unleased, and 12 is leased. 13 and 24 are currently nominated for late auction in 2026. So Phoenix owns the west half of 12, the 320 acres there. So we also have a pad to the south in Section 25 where we've established a 4-mile unit that will be drilling south, and so we are just trying to set ourselves up for future development off that pad going north as well. So none of this technically could be drilled tomorrow, but we are in the process of getting these tracks nominated so it can be.
Is there also some other unusual circumstances on the west half of 13 and 24?
Yep, 13 and 24 has some unleasable acreage, so we are asking for 4 wells, but if this DSU is granted, then we would probably just drill the 2, and the leases are purchased and everything goes well. After the Fed permits are issued, we would probably just drill, or someone would probably drill just the 2 easternmost wells in this proposed unit to put the unleasable federal tracks under scrutiny, so they would be leased eventually.
They put them in a drainage situation.
Correct.
Okay, and did you execute the gas capture affidavit?
I did.
I would ask that exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 9 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Mark, you have, or I'm assuming you just spoke on it, so would you be able to supplement the record with an exhibit that shows where the federal leases are at and what the percentages of those federal leases, as well as what you indicated on a proposal, should some of those leases not be acquired?
Say it one more time.
Would you be able to submit the record, or supplement the record, indicating where the federal leases are that are unleased and what percentages those are, as well as what your proposal, as you indicated, should some of those leases not be able to be achieved in the future?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it, so yes, I can provide that.
And then also, with the fact that they're not up for nomination until 2026, what is the rough idea when you feel this even could be drilled should those leases be acquired?
Oh, I would say they're nominated, or they'll be up for auction middle of 2026. We determined, I would tell you, Phoenix will probably bid pretty hard to get them, and then I would estimate a year to get a BLM permit after that. Again, I would say we will have a pad developed just south of here in 25 that will be, so we're just trying to kind of figure out if this is a possibility, the size of the pad I need, or some, however that works. We're just trying to determine if this isn't even a possibility for later. I'm going to make my pad big enough to accommodate a couple more wells to drill in here. But I can get you the information you requested for sure.
And then you indicated in 13 and 24 there's a special circumstance on why it can't be leased. I'm assuming, based on your comment, that it would put them into a drainage on the federal leases. Is that the issue? It's federal leasing that requires drainage in order to be eligible for leasing?
It's right next to the north unit of the Teddy Roosevelt. So I would assume once it's put in a drainage situation, they would have a different outlook on those and put them into a leasable situation.
When you submit that supplement, can you ensure that you detail where that is at in section 2? Thank you.
So looking at the underlying spacing here, 1 and 12 are currently a stand-up 1280. What would be the development plan for 1?
Conoco's coming from the north coming down. So Phoenix in general likes to drill 4-milers. We've talked with them and they want to do that one from the north coming down. So that's why we backed off and made it a 3-miler.
As part of a 1920 from the north?
A 4-miler, 2026. They want to drill a 4-miler from the north.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, do you know if that application has been made?
I don't believe it has. This is just conversations, I would say, in the last 45, 60 days. But I know Conoco has been active in other spacing in this area just to the south and west of here that we've been in discussions with them about.
Okay. If we don't have an application currently on the docket or something that's pending, it might be appropriate for you to supplement again with your understanding of what the development pattern in that area will look like.
Understood.
Thank you.
You can proceed.
Okay, Keith, you ready?
I am.
Would you describe using Exhibit 4, the geology and structure map for the Middle Bakken in this area?
Certainly. So this is Exhibit 4, the structure map of the Middle Bakken. We see our proposed spacing units of 1920 acres outlined in red, as with the other cases. And our cross-section index line of A to A prime in the gold, along with the type log call out for the middle well in the cross-section. We also see Middle Bakken horizontal wells and Three Forks horizontal wells denoted in the black and the indigo dots, as well as commercial saltwater disposal well in section 35 of 147 north, 99 west in this case. The structure of Middle Bakken in this area is dipping to the north very gently across the proposed spacing unit.
Okay, going to Exhibit 5, discuss the cross-section, the type log, and the reservoir properties.
Yes, so as I just put up on the screen there, this is the A to A prime cross section with the type log denoted in the center well. We see that the Middle Bakken formation is present and continuous across the A to A prime line across the proposed spacing unit. And the type log is the Twin Tanks 3632 as denoted in the cross section, where we anticipate an approximate TBD depth of 11,359 feet. Approximate porosity in the area of 7.7% for the Middle Bakken, average water saturation of 25%, and thickness of 28 feet in the area of the Middle Bakken. With a BOI of 1.5, we calculate an OIP per section of 5.7 million barrels per section.
I have no further questions for Keith and ask that Exhibits 4 and 5 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Okay, Eric, starting with Exhibit 6, if there's any differences, explain them. Otherwise, move on and go to Exhibit 7, the development plan.
Sure, there's no difference than the previous cases, string casing design that we use in the Williston Basin.
Okay, discuss Exhibit 7.
Exhibit 7 is just a proposal. Again, Mark was mentioning the pad there located in section 25 to the south. We were in hearing last month, I believe, on that 4 mile south. I will add that we're planning to spud that unit in second quarter of next year. And as Mark was saying, we are just trying to determine if we should make that pad large enough to accommodate drilling to the north. Our proposed development plan would be eventually 4 wells. We would be drilling the 2 eastern wells here first. that would be the 3H and the 4H, although not indicated on this. They're the two eastern wells, planning to space 500 feet, as I mentioned previous testimony, off the hard lines, and that leaves about 27 feet interwell spacing.
Okay, I'm going to Exhibit 8. Describe your hopeful economics for this well.
Correct. The ARPS parameters are listed in the first table for a 3-mile lateral, expecting about 30,000 barrels of oil a month. Initially declining at 70%, B factor of 0.85. GOR in the area has been established at about 1,800 SCF per barrel. That yields an EOR of 510 MBO and about 1670 MMCF of gas. The economics are run below. Again, these are at 8/8, assuming a 20% royalty. Flat oil price is $65 per barrel. A $3 MCF gas price. D&C again for 3-milers is approximately $10 million. Our OPEX parameters are listed there for variable and fixed. And that's a PV10 of about 3.1 million. Internal rate of return 21% and a payout of 40 months.
I have no further questions for Mr. Shivy and would ask that Exhibits 6, 7, and 8 be admitted into the record.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Eric, on your Exhibit 7, earlier there was a little bit of discussion about potentially putting some federal acreage in drainage. Can you elaborate a little bit on this exhibit? Which of the wells here would be doing that?
Yes, there would really be that. The third one from the left would be putting the acreage in sections 13 in a competitive drainage situation, or because that acreage that Mark was talking about in the Teddy Roosevelt National Forest is on the western parts of section 13 and 24. So we'd be offsetting that to the east.
Okay. So in that supplemental exhibit that David asked for, make sure you identify the wellbore as well that would be putting that.
Yeah, we could put wellbore
distance that it would be off the federal acreage.
Yes, that would be easy enough to do.
I was going to suggest the same thing.
Thank you.
Great minds.
Okay, to be consistent, we'll keep the record open in this case till October 22nd.
Great, that's what I was thinking as well. Thank you.
Concludes our hearing for case number 32125. Case number 32126. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Hart Butte Bakken Pool to establish a laydown 2560 acre spacing unit described as sections 14, 15, 16, and 17, Township 148 North, Range 91 West, done in McLean Counties, North Dakota, and authorize 8 horizontal wells to be drilled in such unit, or granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. Concludes our hearing for case number 32126. Case number 31842. Application of Phoenix Operating LLC for an order amending the applicable orders for the Cottonwood Bakken Pool to establish an overlapping 38-40 acre spacing unit described as sections 10, 11, 14, 15, 22, and 23. Township 159 North, Range 92 West, Burke County, North Dakota, and to authorize 1 horizontal well to be drilled in such unit and granting such other relief as may be appropriate. This case has been continued to our October hearings. That concludes the hearing for case number 31842. Moving now to the supplement. What's that? You can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you realize that.
Well, there you go. Case number 32003. In the matter of a hearing called on a motion of the Commission to consider the confiscation of all treating plant related equipment and saleable oil at the S.V. McGregor Treating Plant Number 1 facility, Northwest Quarter, Section 21, Township 159 North, Range 95 West, Sauk Field, Williams County, North Dakota, operated by Sakakawea Ventures, LLC, the Reading Working Interest Owner pursuant to NDCC 380804 and 380804.9. I will note that this case was heard at our August hearings and is on the docket today due to a publication issue. Any questions or comments from the staff? Hearing none, that concludes our hearing for case number 32003. And that concludes our hearings for the day.